And down there, Warren Giles, former president of the National League, will be throwing the first ball out. Commissioner Bowie Kuhn is right with him. And number 44 is down there also, Henry Aaron. He is seated right behind where Bowie Kuhn is standing. Mr. Giles has the Cincinnati Reds baseball cap on, is posing for photographers, and is going to throw out the ball, and there's the throw. It's a bench, and it's a strike. We're underway.
He really gunned one, too, Ned, and Johnny Bench gave him a double take. He's going to throw it again. Now Johnny ducks. And Mr. Giles, who's president of the National League, president of the Cincinnati Reds, shakes hands with Johnny Bench. Been in baseball over 50 years.
President Emeritus of the National League right now. It began in 1920, and of course the name of Giles still goes on because his son, Bill Giles, is executive vice president of the Philadelphia Phils. And Henry Aaron is indeed down there. He is autographing some books in Cincinnati in the next 2 or 3 days, and some autographs and being sent around the country by the people that sponsor him. So he is very much in evidence here. Everybody comes to World Series games. You see people that never have seen a ball game all year, but they're here. Sometimes people from show business and other walks of life, but mainly the baseball people, the executives, all the people that you see in all the hospitality rooms and all the lies that are told throughout the nights during the World Series. It's always good to see people, and a lot of times, last night I saw a minor league manager, I remember, that I hadn't seen since the 1967 series. He managed in Charleston when I was there.
Who's that?
Bill Adair.
Ah, yeah. I saw Bill over in Boston. Yeah, Bill Adair. It is a good thing when you get to the hospitality rooms, you see the guys that you haven't seen for a while, and of course you look at them and you remember them as players.
The pitcher out on the mound right now, Gary Nolan. I'll tell you one thing that I remember very vividly about him, Joe. The first time that the Red Sox saw him was down in Winter Haven, Florida, and the Reds came over, and he was a brand new, raw rookie who could throw as hard as anybody we have seen. And he threw 3 awesome innings at the Red Sox. I think he struck out something like 6 of the 9 men he faced. And there, everybody said, there's the one that's really going to be, you know, a sure, I don't know, Hall of Famer, what you predict for a kid. And he could have been. He could have a lot more wins except for all the ailments that his flesh has been heir to. But he can still fire. He's a tremendous competitor, a 15-game winner. He came back, too. So we got 2 comeback pitchers on the mound tonight, Nolan for the Reds and Rick Wise for the Red Sox. The distances down the line here, 330 feet. 375 to the alleys in left center, or if you prefer, 114.30 centimeters or millimeters or whatever. And 404 feet to straightaway center field. Symmetrical, with the wall, about a 12-foot wall, and a yellow line running around from foul pole to foul pole, and above that line is a home run. Tier after tier of people, over 50,000 here tonight. So for play-by-play, here we go with Joe Garagiola.
Okay, Ned Martin, thank you very much. And here's the first pitch by Gary Nolan. It swung on and foul back, strike 1. He didn't waste any time. Gary Nolan, who was a fastball pitcher, had shoulder problems, and he's had to adjust. Now spots that fastball very well and uses a curveball, a slow curveball, very effectively. This is some kind of gutty kid who's out there tonight. Nolan delivers to Cooper, slow curveball, bounce to Perez, deep. Nolan will cover, but Perez takes it himself. There's one away. Sparky Anderson says of Gary Nolan, all I have to do is just check with the trainer to see how he's feeling. He said, but I really don't have to, because not once this year did Gary Nolan complain about his arm. In fact, he went on, I have my own way. If Gary Nolan is chirping, I know he's all right. If he's not chirping, something's wrong. And this year he's been chirping, and he's been pitching. 2 comeback pitchers, 1 out, and here is Denny Doyle. First pitch is a fastball. It's foul straight back. Red Sox have left the bench swinging. The bat rack is quivering. The termites are awake. Both these ball clubs, basics sound. They just play good, solid baseball. Rose is in close to third. Doyle, a bouncy ball. Perez again takes it. Steps on a bag, 2 out. Slow curveball. 2 up and 2 down. And Gary Nolan, as he walks back to the mound, goes into kind of a catcher's crouch. Felt like he might have pulled a little bit of maybe a muscle. left heel, but nothing to speak of. He's standing there looking down, waiting for a sign from Johnny Bench as Yastrzemski steps in. Yastrzemski has dominated the series defensively. Swings a bouncy ball, this time Morgan. Here's the throw, 3 up and 3 down for the Boston Red Sox. We go into the bottom half of the first inning. There is no score. Well, Rick Wise is taking his warm-up tosses. A very easy inning for Gary Nolan. Tell you, he had an easy blueprint. The Red Sox left the bench swinging. He threw fastballs, they fouled off. He threw curveballs, they hit 2 to Perez and 1 to Morgan. And it was 3 up and 3 down. Pete Rose will lead it off for the Cincinnati Reds. Griffey will bat second, and the change there is Griffey is about the toughest man in anybody's league to double up. You talk about a guy that can really run. Griffey will bat second, and Morgan, of course, batting third. He can do so much. He can drive in the run from first base. He can get on base to start an inning for you. And then you got Perez, Bench, and Foster, and there you go. Both lineups, Ned, it seems like you got to walk 8 guys to get to the guy you want to pitch to.
The pitcher. And maybe not if you pitch to Rick Wise, because
right.
He can hit a little bit. And even in spring training the last couple of years was a star hitter on our ball club. But it'll be interesting to see how he works them tonight, too, Joe, because he likes to spot his fastball. That's his out pitch. He still says that. He says, I'm not overpowering, but I can throw it to spots. And he has the high riser, which in this ballpark would be probably a little bit more effective, keeping it off the carpet there than it would be in Fenway Park with a short left field wall.
Well, that high fastball will get you 1 of 2 things, strikeout or that long fly ball, and sometimes that long fly ball will find its way over the fence. But we'll wait and see, and here we go. Pete Rose leads it off. No score, bottom half of the first inning. And as we watch the defensive alignment, Denny Doyle at second base is deep, and so is Burleson deep. Yastrzemski is not too deep in left field. Petrocelli's about even with the bag at third. And Cecil Cooper maybe 10 steps behind the bag at first. Pete Rose is taking a deep breath, and this crowd figures they go in action, and they're rooting already. They're ready. No score. Here's the first pitch by Wise to Rose. Fastball is high. Ball 1. Rose batting left-handed. Bouncing ball. Doyle at second has it. Rose is out. Doyle to Cooper. Rose is 2 for 9, including that time at bat in the series. And here is Griffey. Griffey hit the big double that drove in Concepcion that gave the Cincinnati Reds that win on Sunday. He's hit safely in all the 5 postseason games, hitting .316. 6 for 19, 5 runs batted in. Boy, for some of us, that'd have been a good year. Here's the pitch by Wise. Fastball is a strike. One of my favorite umpires behind the plate, Larry Barnett. When he calls a strike, it's like his right leg is connected to his arm and they both go up. 1 strike. Wise delivers. Low. Ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out, nobody on. Bottom of the first, no score. A beautiful night in Cincinnati. 1 ball, 1 strike. Griffey waits the pitch. Way high and outside. Ball 2. He really turned that one loose.
That was the high riser, all right.
Scoreboard here is really an event. It's almost like they got a cheerleader out there. Right now they're asking the fans to yell charge. Swing and a miss. Foul tip. Strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ken Griffey. The on-deck batter is Joe Morgan. Griffey backed out of the batter's box. He was getting his thoughts together, and Wise was working on a mound. All set now. Griffey waits. Wise, deliberate worker. 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled out of play along the left field line. Wise wants a new baseball. They flipped one out, and he didn't like that one. Any number of things with the baseball. The seams may not feel right. Maybe the leather is too tight. Sometimes when the pitcher's throwing a lot of home runs, they feel that leather is so tight that it's a rabbit baseball. They can feel the heartbeat, so they throw it out. Very sensitive fingers. They got to have that ball feeling right. Wise is ready. Pitch. Way inside, moves him back. 3-2. A good fastball. It was about belt high, but way to the inside part of the plate, and Griffey had to get out of there. Full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Wise gets his sign from Carlton Fisk. Griffey waits. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball. Denny Doyle has it. Over to first. 2 up and 2 down. So far, both pitchers working the same. That ground ball. Here's Joe Morgan. Morgan hitting .286. 2 for 7 in the series at 1 double. A base on balls. He's the guy that makes it happen. Bench says it so well. He's the guy that kicks the big red machine into gear. No score. 2 outs, nobody on. Wise delivers. Curveball is a strike. Petrocelli not too far off the bag at third. Burleson is playing way over towards the bag. There's a lot of room between the third baseman and the shortstop. Morgan takes it high. Ball 1, 1-1. Morgan's not a big guy. Cecil Upshaw says that even when you throw one at his knees, it's still not very far from his eyeballs. Good eye. Controls the strike zone well. 1-1 pitch to Morgan. Strike is called on the inside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 men out, nobody on. No score. Outfield swung around. They respect this little guy's power. Wise taking plenty of time. Here's the 1-2 pitch now. High fly ball, center field. Lynn's got plenty of room. He's waiting and makes the play. So it's 3 up and 3 down for the Cincinnati Reds, and as we complete the first inning of play, there is no score. Well, 3 up and 3 down. Both pitchers in complete control so far here, Ned.
Yeah, just about the way they expected to pitch. One interesting thing about the turf and a thought about one of the Red Sox players. Fred Lynn had a lot of trouble when he first went out to play in Kansas City on their turf this summer. He came out of that first series when the Red Sox, I think one series they took 3 out of 4, but the first series there they split with the Royals. And he said it was the worst time he'd had playing in the outfield anywhere. He just had never played on this stuff before, and they're the only games that he has really played. 6 games out in Kansas City. He had a hard time getting used to the bounce.
You have to work at it. Now, they do have dirt, obviously, as you would expect, around home plate, and they have it cut out at each base. But the rest of it, man, well, you work the grounds with a vacuum cleaner. That tells you something. Fisk takes a strike. A slow curveball. Gary Nolan spots the ball well. Happens with a lot of pitchers. You lose something off your fastball, you pitch with better control. Curveball outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. I'll tell you, for young ball players that want to be catchers, you got 2 guys working in this series that look like they fell right out of the Spalding guide. You really can handle that glove. Well hit. That ball is way back on. Home run. Way out of here. Carlton Fisk has given the Red Sox a 1-0 lead. A tremendous home run into the upper deck in left field. Oh, did he hit that one. Johnny Bench goes out to talk to his pitcher as Carlton Fisk jumped on a Gary Nolan curveball and really rode it out of here. And look at that Red Sox bench.
There was no movement at all by Foster in left. He just admired that in a kind of reverse manner. He just watched it.
That's the kind, as an outfielder, I'm sure you sit there and you try to draw it back.
Yep.
There's nothing you can do. And as a catcher, many times you want to holler, no, no, as it's on his way to the plate. Lynn takes high, ball one. The Red Sox, with the home run from Fisk, have just taken a 1-0 lead. A tremendous home run. That would have made it over everything in Fenway, I'll guarantee you. That would not have hit the Green Monster. Lynn hits one high into center field, and Geronimo is there and puts it away. Lynn flies to Geronimo. Here is Rico Petrocelli. 4 for 7 in this series. He has been a steady hitter. Strike is called, a fastball. Carlton Fisk really unloaded on one, and he has given the Red Sox an early 1-0 lead. Curveball. It's hit foul along the third base line, way back into the stands.
A lot more foul room back of home plate here than at Fenway, but it really narrows down to where it's practically nothing past the end of the dugouts.
Behind the plate, the catcher's got a lot of room. High curveball, didn't mean to swing, hit his bat, and it's a strike. 2 strikes to count on Rico Petrocelli. One ball, 2 strikes. We got an engineer up here who's going bananas because of the feedback. There are many radios in the stands, and that's great. But he's having his problems. Hot smash into left field, another base hit for Rico Petrocelli. That ball seemed to hang, and Petrocelli jumped on it and singles into left field. He's got his 5th base hit of this World Series. Rico Petrocelli continues with a hot bat. 5 for 8. And here is Dwight Evans. 1 man out, 1 run is in. Nolan checking as to see who would be covering in case the ball's hit back to him, and Concepcion indicates it'll be him. Dwight Evans. Evans hitting 167. He's 1 for 6. Takes the strike. 1 strike to count. The outfield deep, straight away. Geronimo is way back there. Griffey is being moved over into right center field now. Perez holding him close at first base. Fly ball down the right field line. Griffey is getting over near the line, and does he make the play? Foul ball. Catches the ball. Griffey made the play. It was a foul ball. Nick Colossi is in right field. We watch him indicate. And right up against the wall, Griffey makes the play, and Evans is out. You got 2 blind corners here, and you have to wait for the umpire to indicate, and Colossi did indicate it was a foul ball, but an out. Nice play by Griffey. Here is Burleson. Rick Burleson with Petrocelli at first base. 2 men out, 1 run in. Fisk led off this inning with a home run. There's a strike. 1 strike to count. Burleson, 8 for 16 in the 5 postseason games. In this World Series, he's 4 for 7. Didn't mean to swing, hits his bat, and it's a foul ball, and it's a strike.
Petrocelli down there at first base already has more hits in this series than he got in the 67 games. He had 4 in that series, 2 of them home runs and 1 a double. Now he's got 5.
He's been a hot hitter, all right. Nolan apparently, or Ryan rather, what am I saying? Let me start over. Gary Nolan appears to be much faster than the Red Sox think, because when you're up there hitting and the ball hits your bat and you're not swinging, that ball has to be alive. Boy, I had everybody in there except Lloyd Nolan that time, didn't I?
We might get in
I had
by
Gary
the 7th.
Ryan and Nolan, and no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's a pitch. Once again, didn't mean to swing, hits his bat, a foul ball. That's starting that bat and stopping it, but not pulling it back in time, which indicates a pretty live pitch.
Sometimes a good fastball, excuse me, Joe, and sometimes a very good slider when they think it's fastball and it drifts off, and there's your check swing.
That's one of the ways you can tell it's a slider or a quick breaking ball, because I defy anybody just by looking at it and saying it. Fastball just misses. Nolan thought he had it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You can't really tell a slider from up here unless the hitter gives it a half swing or the catcher makes a quick move. 1-2 pitch is swung on, and a bouncing ball to the shortstop Concepcion. Flips to Morgan, and that retires the side. But the Red Sox on a home run by Carlton Fisk in the bottom of the second lead. Boston 1, Cincinnati nothing. Well, in the bottom half of the second inning, it'll be Tony Perez, Johnny Bench, and George Foster. But right now, let's pause for station identification.
Getty Oil Company would like to encourage you to shop around for the best price for premium gasoline because, according to a recent survey, Getty Premium sells from 2 to 2.5 cents less per gallon than most other major premiums. So we're sure a lot of you will end up by buying from us. Remember, don't waste gasoline, but when you do drive, fill up with Getty Premium or no lead. Getty's got what's best for your car.
This is WNWS-FM New York, where you'll hear news and information live 24 hours a day at 97 on your FM dial. News FM.
Fisk fires the ball down to Denny Doyle, and Tony Perez will lead it off. Perez, the big RBI man for these Cincinnati Reds. Boy, I wish they would say about me what they say about him, that he could drive a run in from anywhere. First base, second, third, the clubhouse. He can drive a run in from anywhere. What a description of a ball player. Wise delivers to Perez. Takes his strike on the outside corner, a good curveball. Petrocelli is way back at third. Burleson is playing a short left field for Tony Perez. Outside, ball 1. I'll tell you one guy I wish that would play on this artificial surface that was a great Cincinnati star was Ernie Lombardi. You think he'd hand out some shin burgers? Oh, baby. They'd play that deep on grass. Swing and a miss. One ball, 2 strikes on Perez. Darcy is loosening up for Cincinnati in the bullpen, so it could be that Nolan said something to his manager. As Perez waits, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wise delivers, and it's fouled off. Count remains at 1-2. Petrocelli is guarding the line. Burleson way back. Yastrzemski's in left center field. Lynn is pretty much straight away. When you run like Lynn, you can play just about any place you want, and people will refer to you as sir. In right field, not too deep is Evans. He's got good range. Doyle is deep at second base. Cooper's wide at first base. They're really fanned out against Tony Perez. Wise has the sign. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled back once again. Looked like he tried to go into right field. 1-0 to score. Boston leading. A home run by Fisk in the top of the second. Johnny Bench is the on-deck batter. Boy, there's a franchise. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wise delivers. Perez takes it low, and it's 2-2. Tony Perez became the all-time Cincinnati run producer in 1975. He went by Frank Robinson with his 1,010th lifetime RBI. Up there now, waiting. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wise delivers. Fouled off, out of play. Nobody's going to get this one. Darcy continues to throw in the bullpen. George Sugar coaches at first. He's way out of the box at first base. Grammas is way out at third base. Perez can hit those scorchers. Wise is ready. 2-2 pitch on the way. High, ball 3. Perez works him to a full count. Wise is a deliberate worker. Gets his sign, takes his time. Here he comes, the 3-2 pitch. Swung on a line drive. Center field, but Lynn is there. Perez. And Lynn hauls it in, one away, and here is Johnny Bench. Bench is hitting .250, 2 for 8. Had a big double on Sunday. He scored the tying run. And Concepcion got the infield hit. And then stole second, and Griffey drove him in. 1-0, Boston leading. We're in the bottom half of the second inning. A home run by Fisk in the top half of the second to lead it off has given Boston that lead. Wise delivers. Curveball. Pulled down the left field line, but it is drifting foul. Out of play. I tell you, that was a high curveball. John didn't have that real good bench swing at it and still drove it 3/4 of the way down the left field line. That pitch, Wise, I must say, had to get away. He got away with that pitch because that's a trouble pitch. That's usually the pitch you're either watching it rack up into the left field seats or you're backing up third. It was a high curveball. Here's the 1-strike pitch. Outside, and it's 1-1. Yastrzemski is over towards the line in left field. Burleson protects the hole between short and third, and Petrocelli guards the line at third. Lynn again straight away in center field. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Fastball and a strike 2.
Bill Wise had several of those hangers and also fastballs that he got up in the right place a lot this year because he gave up 34 homers, and that was more than anybody else on the staff.
Boy, I think if there's one pitch that a hitter, if he could pick up a room service phone and order, he'd order a high curveball. Wise is ready and Bench waits, and here's the 1-2 pitch. Bouncing ball. Petrocelli's deep at third. Long throw. There it is. It is in time. Dick Stello raises the right hand. One of the things that they were wondering about was Petrocelli having to make the long throw at third. Well, he answered some questions with that one. He really had to make a long throw and got benched by a step. 2 up and 2 down. George Foster is the batter. Foster hitting .375. He's 3 for 8. Big, long swing. He gets that bat back, and once he starts it forward, looks like it's in motion for 5 minutes. He really did a job for these Reds in 1975. When they put him in left field and Pete Rose at third, that's when the big red machine started to move. We got a little cat and mouse going here. Foster steps out, and Wise steps off, and Wise steps in, and Foster steps out. And pretty soon they're going to get some music, and they're going to have a hit show on their hands. Now they're ready. First pitch is high, ball 1. 1-0, Boston leading. Petrocelli not quite as deep. He's going back now at third. Burleson way back at shortstop. Now Weiss wants a new baseball. I can't ever understand that. Now, he threw the first pitch. It went into the catcher's glove. Nobody hit it. That's got to be the most polluted area in the world between the pitcher and the catcher to dirty the ball that much. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. If it doesn't feel good for one pitch, it shouldn't feel good for the other one, Ned.
Well, it might be some dirt in Fisk's fingernails or something.
1 ball and 1 strike. 2 men out, 1-0. Boston leading. Here's the pitch by Wise. Way outside. Both Fisk and Bench give their pitchers good low targets, and they never make the pitcher look wild. They're always just reaching around like they got a big giant tweezer in their hands. They're not jumping around, knocking balls down. 2-1 pitch. Did he go around? Yes, he did. A high fastball. Foster tried to stop his swing, but he'd gone too far. 2 balls and 2 strikes and 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the second. Boston leading 1-0. A home run by Fisk. Wise is ready. Now Foster backs out, and here we go again. Now Foster's in, and Wise is ready. 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled back. One lady let out a scream when it was halfway up there, man. She was signaling for a fair catch and wasn't even near her. Hang in there, lady. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Wise, who kind of peers over his glove. He sneaks a look. Here he comes again. Low, and it's ball 3. Three balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Darcy continues to throw in the Cincinnati bullpen. Rick Wise, ready. Foster waits. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 4. George Foster becomes the first base runner for Cincinnati as he draws a base on balls, and that brings up Dave Concepcion. Concepcion 1 for 8, but what a base hit that was. He hit a high hopper that Denny Doyle, the Boston second baseman, came up with, but couldn't do anything as Johnny Bench scored the tying run. Foster, a good base runner, but certainly not as aggressive and not as good a base runner yet as Joe Morgan. But there he goes. Here's the throw. It is not in time. Into center field. Here goes Foster. It'll be a stolen base and an error. Foster did not have a good jump, and he made it with sheer speed. A stolen base and an error.
And there's the first indication that the Reds are home at Riverfront. They're starting to run the first man, and a little bit of pressure and a bad throw gets him to third.
Fisk had a good ball to handle. It was a short hopper. It went into center field, and Fisk is charged with an error, and now 2 men out, a man on third, and a count of ball 1 on Dave Concepcion. Wise is ready. Delivers. It's a strike. Good fastball.
Wise does not have a great move to first base, or what he has to rely on is throwing over there a lot, keeping them close as possible, because he admits he unloads rather slowly, as you see.
He's got Foster at third, 2 men out, and a 1-1 pitch now to Dave Concepcion. He's looking in for a sign. Checks the runner, and here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. It's easy to see how a base runner measures his lead in this ballpark because of the cutout part. Joe Morgan, for example, is able to get a lead with both his feet on the artificial surface. And Maury Wills, who expert base runner, points out that if you can just get 1 foot on the artificial surface, it's a good lead. Foster had both feet in the dirt area and still made it easily. Here's the pitch, way outside, 2-2. Both ball clubs, aggressive base runners. Let's go right down the line. Both ball clubs fundamentally sound. Not going to be any gimmicks win this World Series. Good, solid baseball is going to win the series. And both clubs are capable of playing good, solid baseball. Or they'd be home listening and watching. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Hit his bat. Didn't mean to swing. Foul ball, and it's 2-2. I kind of imagine the Red Sox infielders found it strange to have to play as deep as they're playing.
Yeah, you notice not right now with a runner at third. Burleson was back of that line, which ordinarily would be outfield grass when he's playing shortstop. Foster a lead at third. Wise delivers the 2-2 to Concepcion. A line drive right field, but Evans is there and makes the play. Concepcion lines to Evans, that retires the side. Cincinnati does not score. At the end of 2, it's Boston 1, Cincinnati nothing. We move to the top half of the third inning, and Rick Wise will lead it off. Wise, as Ned Martin told you, a pretty good hitter. He's hit a couple of home runs. I think he's hit something like 6 lifetime.
There goes the throw to second base. Wise steps in, and we're all ready to go. NBC certainly would like to send its best wishes to the 1.5 million servicemen and civilians overseas who are listening to the Armed Forces radio and TV service over 399 radio stations the world over. Yes, sir? Hope you're enjoying it, guys. Ball one. Man, I remember in 1945, I got up at, I think it was 2:30 in Manila to listen to the Browns and the Cardinals. Blix Donnelly pitched that game. High fly ball left field. George Foster will now catch it one hand. He does. That's a whole new thing. Three things that have left baseball are the two-handed catch, dirt because everybody uses pine tar, and the complete game.
Don't see much of any of them anymore.
Don't see much of it anymore.
The stabbing of that, well, the one-hand stab is something that really has come alive in the American League. It wasn't done before. Ken Harrelson's first one I can remember within the last 10 years it started. Now everybody's doing it.
Just don't drop it. Here is Cecil Cooper. High pop fly in the infield. Geronimo's going out. Foster's coming in. Foster's taking charge. And there he goes. One-hand grab. Vic Power was the first guy I remember at first base. He'd be snatching everything around there with one hand.
I guess if you can do it, it's all right. Amos Otis does it for the Kansas City Royals very well. But the old school, I guess, still teaches you, go after it with two.
Well, you remember when you were a kid, they used to holler two things at you? You swing like a rusty gate and two hands while learning.
Two hands for beginners.
Yeah. Of course, it's judge the man on his results, not his method. Doyle takes the first pitch low, a curveball, ball one. Denny Doyle had the American League's longest hitting streak of the year, 22 games. He came over from the Angels in June to the Red Sox, and what a job. Fouls went off. Gordy Coleman, one of the Cincinnati Reds stars of yesterday, in the booth next to us. He works for the Reds, along with Brooks Lawrence, who pitches batting practice, and Joe Nuxhall, who does the broadcast. High fastball, 2 balls and a strike. 1-0. We're in the top of the third. Boston leading, a home run by Carlton Fisk to open the second inning. Here's a pop foul. Pete Rose is taking charge. Took a look at Johnny Bench, who said, "That's okay, Pete, make the play," which is a sign of a good catcher. Holler a lot of room and get out of the way. 3 up and 3 down. Bottom of the third. Boston 1, Cincinnati 0. Well, Cesar Geronimo, Gary Nolan, Pete Rose, the 3 hitters here in the bottom of the third for Cincinnati. We're talking about the 1.5 million servicemen and civilians overseas who are listening to the Armed Forces radio and TV service over 399 radio stations the world over. Ned, I was talking about listening to that Cardinal Browns in '44. Do you remember listening to any games when you were?
A year later, in '45, the 45, the war had ended, I guess. We were listening to the Cubs and the Detroit Tigers in that wild 7-game series.
Yeah.
And I was on Maui Island then, where it was rest camp for the 4th Marine Division. And I remember they had the oldsters and the youngsters playing the war years. I think Doc Kramer was playing still, and it was a great, exciting series. It went 7, and people were throwing the ball around and falling down, and it was one of the most exciting series I've ever heard.
Chuck Hostetler, I think, was the guy coming around third.
Yeah.
There goes Fisk's throw to second base, and we're all set to go as Cesar Geronimo leads it off. 1-0, Boston leading. Red Sox with 2 hits, a home run by Fisk and a single by Petrocelli. Cincinnati, no runs, no hits. 1 error in the game. Fisk has that. Here's the first pitch by Wise. Swung on, a bouncing ball. Doyle, a big hop. He's got it over to first, and there's 1 away. So Gary Nolan is the batter. I watched Nolan during batting practice, and he swings the bat. But now, is he a good hitter? Because a lot of us swung the bat. The idea is to put the bat on the ball. Here's the first pitch by Wise. He takes a strike. I'll say one thing. Nolan took that strike like a real hitter. He backed off as if to fake a bunt.
Very hard to say whether he was a good hitter or not because the pitchers, they have a compiled average of 140.
Well, it looked like they were hitting in a combined slump.
It was the pitchers for the Reds had 58 hits and 406 turns at bat.
58 for what? 400 and what?
406.
Here's the 1-1 pitch outside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Lifetime batting average of 147. 1 home run. Hit that in 1968. Bouncing ball. Cooper has it. He's going to take it himself. Steps on the bag, and that was a career saver as Nolan was out 3/4 of the way down. And here is Pete Rose now to lead it off. 2 outs. Try to get a rally started, but it's tough when the first 2 guys go out. Rose bounced out his first time up to the second baseman, Denny Doyle. One thing about the first 3 guys in that Cincinnati lineup, they could all serve as leadoff men. Rose takes his strike. Wants to take a look at the ball. Barnett says, nope, it's okay. Pete hitting from a crouch. Way down there. Small strike zone. 1 strike pitch. Hot smash. Denny Doyle off his chest. Has it. Makes the play to first. So once again, Rose is out. Doyle to Cooper. 3 up and 3 down. And as we complete 3 innings, the score, Boston 1, Cincinnati nothing. We move to the top half of the 4th inning, a 1-0 ball game. We're getting some feedback, and our engineers, and all of them, crackerjack engineers, the preceding was a paid political announcement. No, what I'm trying to say is we really are happy that all the people in the stands have radios, but we are getting a feedback from it, and there's nothing our engineers could do but just put their hands on their head and look at me and say, I don't know what I can do. So you bear with us. And that's what it is.
Where is it all bouncing from?
I don't know. This place is so big. You could land a 747 between short and third. This is so big, but they're getting feedback, and that's what it's from. I hear it. It's good. We're glad you're listening. We hope you're enjoying it. Got a 1-0 ball game here. The Red Sox are leading. Here is Carl Yastrzemski, who jumped on the first pitch and bounced out to Joe Morgan. Curveball is low, ball 1. Looks like Yastrzemski changed socks this time, Ned. Remember that one on the left sock had a big hole in it because they were winning. He kept it on. And now he's got one that he looks like one of the regular players.
Yeah, I think the right one's an old one, though, still. He's got a quarter or a $50 in it.
Hate to see those big kids playing with bad socks. 1-0 pitch to Yastrzemski. Fastball that misses, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Now you start to move into dangerous country when you get behind fellas like Yastrzemski. 2 balls and no strikes. Here's a pitch. Fastball is a strike and a good one. It's a good low fastball. Gary Nolan trailing 1-0. Top of the 4th. Right-hander delivers. Bouncing ball. Perez at first base. The big hop. Races to the bag, and he wins it. Perez, once again, unassisted. That's the 3rd play he's made unassisted. Got Cooper and Doyle, the first 2 hitters in the first, and now Yastrzemski. Here is Carlton Fisk. Fisk is the man of the hour right now. There's 1 run on the scoreboard. He's the man that put it there. Wish I could think of that outfielder's name in Rochester. The year that he hit a home run, that 1-0 game, the manager took him out. He ran out to the scoreboard and took the run off and went right in the clubhouse with it.
Kept it. Huh?
Kept it. He said, it's mine. Outside, a fastball, and it's ball 1.
Shows 1 ball. Class there, I think.
Yeah, sure. It was a 1-0 game. He had put it there, and the manager goes for defense. He says, well, I'll take my run with me. Let the glove do it for you. Fastball on the outside, part of the plate. Thought it was the outside corner. Nolan wants to talk to Barnett. Barnett says, no, it wasn't on the corner. 2 balls and no strikes. That was a good pitch. Two fastballs by Gary Nolan. Looked like Fisk hit a breaking ball for a home run. Fastball outside, 3-0. Here's another question. In Fenway Park, Darrell Johnson turned everybody loose on 3-0. Burleson hit 3-0. Yastrzemski did. The clubhouse guy. Everybody hits 3-0 for Darrell Johnson. And here's the 3-0 pitch. Swung on and drilled deep to left field, but curving foul. Way up there. That's in the third tier. That baby about maybe $4.65 by cab.
Boy, he got his pitch on 3-0 too. You got to have it in your wheelhouse. He did.
Woo. He really ripped that one. I guarantee you nobody that had a ticket for up there thought they'd get a ball. That thing may have some snow on it. He really hit it. 3 balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 4. And I'll tell you, the way Fisk swung at that one, you can't really blame Nolan. He walks him, he at least knows where he is. He had a good cut at that one, that 3-0 pitch. All year long he did that, huh, Darrell Johnson?
Yeah, especially at home. But he would give the good hitters, the guys that could pop it out of there, if they get exactly their pitch. Naturally, on 3-0, you take a tough strike. But if you get one that's just kind of slopped up there, why, there you go.
Oh, boy. Here is Lynn, who's usually a first ball hitter with men on, and he has a base runner, Fisk. Here's the pitch. Takes it low, ball 1. Great thing about hitting 3-0, and I'm speaking from what the other guys told me, because I didn't get many 3-0 signs, I'll tell you that.
How come?
Listen, I got a 3-2 take sign. Are you kidding me? I looked down, 3 balls, 2 strikes. He said, take it. Here's a hot smash, foul ball, past Perez at first base. Those good hitters on 3 balls and no strikes, they can really pinpoint it to where they not only guess the pitch, where they say, I'm going to look for a fastball, they say, I'm going to look for a low fastball, a low inside fastball. And they got an area about the size of maybe of a grapefruit, and if that ball gets into that area, 3 balls and no strikes, you've never seen so much activity. You can almost hear that back leg just screw itself into the ground as they brace themselves for that pitch, and they drool. That's what Fisk did. Strike is called on Lynn. Curveball, it dropped over the outside corner. Good pitch by Gary Nolan.
Nice tail on that one, didn't it?
Lynn just kind of laid off that pitch because there wasn't much he could do with it. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Fisk a lead at first. Perez playing behind him. Hot smash, base hit, right field. Fisk is rounding second. He's digging for third. Here is the throw. It is cut off by Concepcion. The throw to first in time. They got him. Fred Lynn made a big turn in first base. And Concepcion very alertly cut the ball off. Fired to Perez, and Lynn is out. And there is your basic baseball on the part of the Cincinnati Reds. Griffey came up throwing, and Concepcion, able to handle the throw, cut it off because they had no chance to get Fisk at third, and quickly fired to Perez, who was in perfect position to put the tag on Lynn. So there are 2 away. Play goes 9-6-3. Fisk is on at third base, but what a difference, first and third, and 1 out, as opposed to what it is right now with the man on third and 2 outs. And here is Rico Petrocelli.
Well, there's an instance of being overzealous on the bases and running yourself into an out where you didn't have to.
He really didn't. And Cincinnati able to capitalize on the mistake. Hot smash up the middle. Morgan has it. The throw to first in time. Oh, what a play he made from deep center field. I got to believe that Petrocelli thought that ball was through there. And Morgan, a fantastic play, some 20 feet behind second base. Off balance, fired to first base in time. What a defensive play. And that retires the side. No score. We move to the bottom of the 4th. It is Boston 1, Cincinnati nothing. Well, I'll tell you, this ballpark is buzzing on that tremendous play by Joe Morgan. Ned, he really had to go a long way.
That's a long, well, with all apologies to Lynn's catch in Boston, there's a fielding play of the series, I believe, because it meant something. It meant a run. And there are the Cincinnati defense. That's exactly the type of ball club they are, along with their fabled power. the kind that can make the plays like Concepcion just did to cut off Lynn and Morgan did to get Petrocelli.
And I tell you, it wasn't even close once he started to throw, which I say kind of leads you to believe you wonder if Rico let up, because the ball was hit sharply, and it was right back up the middle past Gary Nolan.
He didn't let up, Joe.
He just can't run. That's
right.
what I'm saying. I'm starting to ask you, because I really thought that ball was in the center field. What a defensive play by Morgan. Right past the pitcher, Gary Nolan, past the bag. He took 4 quick steps to his right, off balance, made the throw. Here is Griffey now as we move to the bottom of the 4th. Fastball is outside and it's ball 1. 2 fine plays by the Cincinnati defense prevented a run. The cutoff play by Concepcion got Lynn as he made the wide turn at first, and then that play by Morgan. It was a real major league play. Fouled off, out of play, 1 ball, 1 strike. Sparky Anderson, when he thinks his pitcher's having just a little bit of trouble, he gives the bullpen plenty of notice. He's never caught short. You very rarely have to have a coach go out there and stall for time. Sparky will have his man ready, especially his middle relief man, who might have to go long. There's a curveball that misses, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. 1-0. Carlton Fisk a home run in the 2nd inning, and that's been it. Boston leading. Here's the 2-1 pitch. High fly ball, center field. Yastrzemski's coming over, but Lynn's taking charge. 1 away. Griffey flies to Lynn in straightaway center field, and here's the man who made the play. He'll get a tremendous hand from this crowd. Joe Morgan. He can beat you so many ways. He can beat you with the bat. He can beat you with the glove. He can beat you with his feet.
He may be the best ball player in the game today, Joe. Very close to it, if not.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm like Sparky. If he's not, I'd like to know who is.
Right.
Morgan waits as Wise delivers, and here it is. It's a strike. Love the way old Larry Barnett calls those strikes. The right hand goes up, and there goes the right leg, like they're tied together. 1 strike pitch now. Fouled out of play. Strike 2 on Joe Morgan. Set a club record in walks, 132. Finished 4th in batting, 327. 94 runs batted in. He gives base running instruction at the spring training camp. He just does it all. 2 strikes now, the count on Joe Morgan. 1 out. Wise gets the sign. Here's the pitch. Line foul out of play along the left field line. Carlton Fisk, the big catcher, not only does he give the sign for the pitch, he really moves around in back of the plate and makes sure of the location. Other ball clubs many times will watch that, and the on-deck hitter will tip off if he's moving in or out. Some guys like to know where that ball is. Outside, ball 1. It's an easy way to give him a signal, because all you have to do is make it up with the hitter. For example, if Perez had a sign, he would just tell Joe, if I holler Joe, it's inside. If I holler Morgan, it's outside. You know, you shout, come on, Joe, get a good pitch. And there's your signal. High fly ball, deep center field. Lynn turns around, got plenty of room. Makes the play. He turned completely around on that, but I have seen him enough to know that he wasn't in trouble. Just a fine athlete, Fred Lynn. Very graceful. So they're 2 away. Lynn has taken care of both Griffey and Morgan. Here is Perez. Lynn took care of him in the 2nd inning. Only 1 base runner for the Cincinnati Reds. That was Foster. In the 2nd, he walked, stole 2nd, went to 3rd on the air, and that's it. 1 run, 3 hits, and 1 error for Boston. And the Reds, no runs, no hits, and no errors. 2 outs here in the 4th. Perez waiting. Count of ball 1. Outside, and it's ball 2. They have an inner line that goes from the bases, between the bases, almost in line with each base, and then an outer circle. And Burleson is about 4 steps outside the outer circle. Perez takes a strike on the outside corner. He didn't think so, but that doesn't really matter. Two balls and 1 strike to count on Tony Perez. 1-0 Boston leading. We're in the bottom of the 4th. A home run by Fisk. Wise delivers. Outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Now Wise wants a new baseball. And just like you're in dangerous territory when you get behind fellas like Yastrzemski and Fisk, 3 balls and 1 strike, you're in dangerous territory when you get behind a fella like Perez. If he can put a fuse to it, he'll ride it a long way. Here's the 3-1 pitch now by Wise. Whoops, high, laid off. Started 2, but it went high for ball 4. So Perez draws the base on balls, and here is Johnny Bench. Bench bounced out his first time up, and now Fisk wants to talk to Wise. And you can almost assume what he's saying. He said, look, the first time up, you threw a high curveball that you got away with. You throw one this time, he's liable to tear out a row of seats in the upper deck. So be sure you get your curveball down. He's a good fastball hitter. Try to keep it outside. If you keep it inside, he'll tear out a row of seats for you. And you tell that to a pitcher enough, pretty soon he says, whose side are you on?
Don't you like me or something?
That's right. Some pitchers you really can't say that to. You just got to tell them where to pitch the ball because they remember what you said about the hitter more than what they're supposed to do. I want to look at the baseball now. Larry Barnett takes a good close look at it. Puts the same ball in play. When you're hitting, you're concentrating so much that if there is a speck on that ball, I tell you, it comes up there looking like a barber pole. You can really pick up that dark spot. That's what the guys always used to say. Lead by Perez. Wise delivers. Bench waits. Strike is called a fastball. He challenged him, Ned.
Kept it low, too.
Yes, he did. 1 strike to count. 1-0 is the score. Boston is leading. We're in the bottom of the 4th. There are 2 outs. Perez has a safe lead. Cooper's playing behind him. And they're playing bench to pull and deep. There goes Perez. The pitch is outside. Fisk is going to have a tough time. No, sir. Perez is safe. And the key to that was that Cooper was playing behind him. And Perez, who doesn't steal that many bases, got to be his, let's see, for the year. He stole 1 base and was caught twice for the whole year. And here he steals a big base. I got to say that he's probably got 20 stolen bases for his entire career, which would include Little League and the playground. But he's got a big one here. They took him for granted, and Tony took off. 2 balls and 1 strike. Crowd is alive. Johnny Bench waits now. Listen to him. 2 outs. Here's the pitch. High fly ball deep, way back, to this ball is out of here. Cincinnati bench has just gone absolutely bananas as Johnny Bench gets the first hit of this ball game for Cincinnati, and he took care of the no-hitter and the shutout and the lead all with 1 swing of the bat. Johnny Bench, a home run over the left field fence, and George Foster is taking plenty of time to get up there. We'll try to let this crowd, let alone himself, get a little bit settle down here. Foul ball out of play. You just wonder if that Perez stolen base had an effect on him, Ned.
Yeah, I believe so. The walk, of course, it comes back to haunt him, but they had no business letting Perez steal. In fact, I think if the throw had been a little bit lower, Joe, they would have had him. The throw was a little high from Fisk.
And the Reds lead 2-1. Foster takes a strike on the outside corner, and it's strike 2. Johnny Bench. He pulled that left field fence right in behind shortstop. Yastrzemski took one look, turned around, and said, uh-oh. There goes the lead. 2-1 is the score. Cincinnati with 2 runs here in the 4th. George Foster up there with the count of strike 2. Wise delivers. Foul ball straight back. Both these clubs very explosive. Johnny Bench, 3rd World Series home run. Rick Wise taking plenty of time with a 2-strike count on George Foster. Here's the pitch. Outside. Ball 1. A base on balls to Tony Perez. A stolen base. And all this with 2 outs. Wise delivers. Outside once again. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2-1. Cincinnati leading. Deuces are wild. Wise, very deliberate. The pitch. Hot smash. Petrocelli at third has it. Here's the throw. In time. Foster is out. Petrocelli to Cooper. But not before Cincinnati comes up with 2 runs. A 2-run homer by Johnny Bench. And so at the end of 4, the score, Cincinnati 2, Boston 1. 2-1. Cincinnati leading Boston, 3rd game of the World Series as we go to the top of the 5th. And NBC's radio's coverage of the World Series will continue after station identification.
Everyone's talking about the rare Hamburg Lager from Hamburg, Germany. The new beer in town, they're talking about the rare brew lagered and bottled in Hamburg. And they're talking about the rare taste. Crisp, light, and authentically German. Everything a great northern beer should be. A fine lager to complement fine food or satisfy a hearty thirst. Ask for Holsten Lager at your favorite store and tavern. Leonard Kreusch, Incorporated, Carlstadt, New Jersey, exclusive importer.
This is WNWS-FM New York, where you'll hear news and information live 24 hours a day at 97 on your FM dial, News FM.
Pat Darcy is the new pitcher for Cincinnati, and he faces Dwight Evans, misses with a fastball outside, and it's ball 1. Inside, and it's ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. For Johnny Bench, that was his 4th World Series home run. Darcy won 11 and lost 5 at an earned run average of 3.57. Bouncing ball to Concepcion. Over to first, and Evans is out. Concepcion to Perez, gets Evans. Lives in Tucson, Arizona. Pat Darcy, 6'4". Tucson, great country. Burleson takes a strike. They have just flashed on the scoreboard that Gary Nolan was forced to leave the game because of stiffness in his neck. Didn't mean to swing, and it's a foul ball, strike. Two strikes to count, 1 out, 2-1. Cincinnati leading. We're in the top of the 5th. There's a base hit in the left field. Bouncing ball between short and third, and Burleson has a base hit. You got to like that little guy.
I told you the other day on television, it's the guy that you He wouldn't have been here without it, shortstop day after day. He's 5 for 9 now in the series.
He's one of those nits and gnats. He never takes a big bite, but he keeps nicking you, you know? You're not going to collapse, but you're going to bleed to death.
Slowly.
Right. Rick Wise is the batter with Burleson on at first base. Top of the 5th. Reds are leading 2-1. Rose has moved on in close to third. They're halfway expecting a bunt. If they do bunt, they'll make Perez field it. Wise squares around, misses, it's a strike. Morgan started to sneak in behind Burleson at first base, but he's too good a base runner. Griffey in right field is shallow, and they've got some more activity in the bullpen. Here's the pitch, swung on, a bouncing ball. Rose tries to cut it off. He does to Morgan in time, and Rose ends up at the second base spot. It was a high chopper. Rose cut the ball off, flipped it to Morgan for the force on Burleson, and very alertly Concepcion from his shortstop spot just kept running, and he had third base protected. Should Rose not be able to make the play, and Burleson have some ideas about going to third. I tell you, everybody covers the spot. Everybody's moving. Everybody's doing a job. They shore up everything. Both ball clubs, again, fundamentally sound. No trick plays. Just keep the other club from getting more than 4 outs. That's the name of the game. Cooper is the batter. Bounced out his first time up to Perez unassisted and flied to left. Darcy delivers. It's high, ball 1. I don't know who said it first, but whoever said it had it all when he said, ball clubs, they don't beat you, you lose to them, which means you're making a mistake and they're not. Outside, ball 2.
This Cincinnati club doesn't make many, does it, Joe?
No, I tell you, it's a team. You got to say pretty much the same thing for the Red Sox.
A little bit less experience, though.
Here's a foul ball out of play. I tell you, it's a tribute to the spirit on this Cincinnati ball club. When you got as many superstars, you know, they got a lot of guys making a lot of commercials, and that's the test. You know, Bench and Rose, Morgan. 2-1 pitch. Hot smash right at Joe Morgan off his chest. He pounces on it, fires the first in time. Good play by Joe Morgan. Cooper hustling down the line. Made it close, but Morgan got him. So the Red Sox do not score in the top of the 5th. We move to the bottom half. The score, Cincinnati 2 and Boston 1. Well, a tremendous roar went up for a great guy about RBIs in the 6-game series who holds the record, and instead the coach is here, the scoreboard, asking that question. And the answer being Ted Kluszewski, who had 10 for the White Sox in 1959. And, of course, he did most of his playing for the Reds, and they really let out a roar for their favorite, big Ted Kluszewski. So we now move to the bottom half of the 5th inning. We got one of those games. 2-1 is the score, and you keep expecting that big explosion. 2-1, the Reds leading the Boston Red Sox, and for the Cincinnati Reds, here in the bottom of the 5th, it'll be Concepcion, Geronimo, and the pitcher Darcy, but you never know what Sparky Anderson is going to do. Right now, Wise is taking his warm-up tosses. The 1 run for the Red Sox came as Carlton Fisk led off the second with a home run, and then in the 4th inning, after 2 were out, Perez walked, stole second, and Johnny Bench hit a home run to make it 2-1 Cincinnati. No strikeouts yet for the Red Sox, no strikeouts for the Cincinnati Reds. And now to bring you the play-by-play the rest of the way, here is Ned Martin.
All right, Joseph, thank you. And here we go into the bottom half of inning number 5. Dave Concepcion, Cesar Geronimo, and the pitcher scheduled up. They had Clay Carroll down there warming up, but he's not anymore. Concepcion lined to right field his first time up. Wise to the motion. Throws, and the fastball's on the inside corner, called strike 1. Concepcion backed out on that. Didn't feel that it hit the corner, but it was called strike 1 by Barnett. Wise kicks and throws. Breaking pitch, line deep to left field. Back toward the wall. It is up. It is gone. Home run. Concepcion. Red Sox now trail 3-1. Concepcion hit a pitch right on the button. A liner screaming out into left center field, and they watched that one go, too. It just went on a line, and now it's the Reds 3 and the Red Sox 1. Geronimo takes ball 1, and Rick Wise, with a predilection for giving up the home run ball, has given up 2 in the last 2 innings. And they have hurt him throughout the year. Rick delivering now to Geronimo, and the fastball is low, ball 2. Activity in the bullpen for the Red Sox now. Jim Burton, left-hander, warming up. Reggie Cleveland, right-hander, throwing. Wise, who gave up a walk and a homer in the 4th, has given up a leadoff homer to Concepcion. The pitch to Geronimo, strike called in the outside corner, 2-1. So you were waiting for the other shoe to drop in this game, and it did in a hurry. Concepcion's first World Series homer. And he nailed it. Here it comes to Geronimo, inside and high, ball 3. 3-1 to Geronimo. Oddly enough, the only 2 hits given up by Wise in this game have been homers. He lost a no-hitter and a shutout in the 9th inning against Milwaukee this year when George Scott hit a home run off him in the 9th. Long drive, right center field. Evans back near the wall, looking up. He can't get it. Home run. 4-1, Cincinnati. Johnson is moving toward the mound as Geronimo is in a home run over the right field fence. And the red power is being brought to bear on Rick Wise as he has come completely unglued here in the 5th inning after pitching a fine ball game.
It's a funny thing how the World Series has a way of taking all the intangibles, if you can call it that everybody tries to make cases for and against, namely the green monster, as they call it in Boston, the artificial surface here. Nobody hit the wall in Boston. It hasn't been a factor here yet, the artificial surface. Those 2 home runs, the one by Fisk and the one by Bench, would have been home runs in an airport.
Anywhere, absolutely. All of them well tagged. A battle of home runs. Reds are leading the Red Sox 4-1. Swinging strike by Darcy, the pitcher. He is batting for himself and now has 3 runs to work with. Pat Darcy, who came on to relieve Gary Nolan, the starter, whose shoulder stiffened on him. There's a neck stiffen, really, the foul ball back. 0-2 to Darcy. Nobody out in the 5th. Johnson had his word to try to calm down Wise as Rick was breezing along. No-hit baseball through 3 2/3. Then gave up the walk to Perez. The stolen base followed, then a Bench's homer. And now back-to-back homers by Concepcion and Geronimo. Here it is. Strike 3 called. Darcy's out, and there's 1 away. It's the first strikeout of the ball game by either pitcher. Pete Rose, top of the order, coming up. Twice has grounded to Doyle at second. So the things that you've heard about, the things you've read about, and the things that Cincinnati fans have been looking at all year long has come to pass. The power of the big red machine. Maybe a trite saying, but that's the way it's looked in this inning. Going on all 9. There's a running bunt attempt by Rose. Strike 1. Wise has given up 3 home runs in this game. The World Series record, 4. Strike call. 4 given up by Charlie Root of the Cubs against the Yankees in 32, Gene Thompson of the Reds in 1939 against the Yankees, and Dick Hughes of the Cardinals against the Red Sox in 1967. That was the day that Rico Petrocelli had 2 homers. Here's the pitch to Rose. Slices a foul out of play. The count is 0-2 to Pete. So in a game that was tight and well played, all of a sudden it's busted open a little bit at the seams. And it hasn't only been the Reds' home runs. It's been their fielding. They cut down 2 people. One on a fine play by Morgan on Petroselli to end the fourth and save a run. And then Lynn was caught off as he rounded first base after a single, and Concepcion's alert cutoff and throw over to first base nailed him. So the Reds have done it all so far tonight. Wise with the 0-2 delivery to Rose. Outside a ball. Griffey on deck. Here it is. Fastball, fly ball, deep center field. Lynn going back. Can't get it. It's over his glove. Rolling to the wall. Picked up by Evans. Rose has two. Rose has three. A triple. Rose drove one to the 404-foot mark on the bounce as Lynn almost had a shot at it, but couldn't come up with it, and that is going to be all for Rick Wise. Darrell Johnson crosses the line. He wants the left-hander, Jim Burton, to come on. Ken Griffey will be the hitter, followed by Morgan, both of them left-handed batters. So Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose, triples, and they have really combed Rick Wise here in the fifth inning. He will leave the game at this point, having gone 4 1/3 innings, and suddenly coming apart all at once to extra base power. He allowed 4 hits and 4 runs. All 4 hits have been of the extra base variety, 3 homers and a triple. He struck out 1 and he walked 2. And he will leave the game in favor of Jim Burton.
Pete Rose really hit that ball a long ways. It's 404 feet dead center field, and Lynn, you've seen enough of him if you've just been watching the World Series to know that he's got tremendous range. Went back, it was over his head, and actually Dwight Evans picked up the ball. And it was really interesting watching Rose as he ran the bases. As he got to second base, he took a good look to see what was happening on the ball in center field. He shifted into high gear, and then as he went into third base, he was still looking. And he thought if a little bit of a bobble, he was going to come on in, but wisely stopped at third, and Alex Grammas had the red light up for him. So we've got Burton coming in to relieve Wise. The Reds have exploded here. It's a 4-1 score. Rose is on at third base, and right now let's pause for station identification.
Getty Oil Company would like to encourage you to shop around for the best price for premium gasoline because, according to a recent survey, Getty Premium sells from 2 to 2.5 cents less per gallon than most other major premiums. So we're sure a lot of you will end up buying from us. Remember, don't waste gasoline, but when you do drive, fill up with Getty, premium or no lead. Getty's got what's best for your car.
This is WNWS-FM New York, where you'll hear news and information live 24 hours a day at 97 on your FM dial, News FM.
Jim Burton, who joined the club in the first third of the season, a left-hander from Royal Oak, Michigan, had a record of 1 win and 2 losses on the year. Came up from Pawtucket, the AAA Farm Club, and was used primarily in long relief, and later on in the latter part of the season turned into a good short relief left-hander. 1 win, 2 losses, a 2.89 earned run average. He had 1 save. He worked 53 innings, and he struck...
That sound means we are about to broadcast an NBC News hotline report of an important news development. The story involves a traffic accident involving President Ford's car in Hartford, Connecticut. We'll shortly have details of the story being assembled here in the NBC newsroom. In 10 seconds from now, we will have an NBC News bulletin with details on a traffic accident involving President Ford's car in Hartford. Now, this hotline report from NBC News. This is an NBC News hotline report. This is Bob Kane. The Associated Press reports President Ford's armored limousine has been hit broadside, apparently by accident, at a downtown intersection in Hartford, Connecticut. There has been no immediate indication whether the president was injured. Details remain sketchy, and that's all the information available at this moment. Mr. Ford is in Hartford to take part in a Republican fundraising affair involving Connecticut Republicans. Further details as they become available from NBC News. This has been an NBC News hotline report.
And we're back at Riverfront Stadium after that news report on the president. Ken Griffey is leading off for Cincinnati, and the count on him is 2 balls, 1 strike, as the new left-hander, Jim Burton, is on for his first taste of World Series action. The Reds lead the Red Sox 4-1 on 3 homers and a triple. The only 4 hits they have, they don't know what a single is yet. The count on Griffey, 2-1. There's pitch inside to him, a ball. 3 balls, 1 strike. Griffey has grounded out and fly to center.
That infield plays in here, Ned, as they're playing right now. That ball really gets by you in a hurry.
Well, you give up an awful lot of angle that way on this turf. But that's what they're doing. They're playing right in on that inner line that you mentioned earlier, which would be tantamount to the difference between the infield grass and the skin part of the infield on a normal diamond. 3 balls, 1 strike. Griffey walks. Runners at first and third, and the Reds continue. Burton walks the first man he faces.
Sparky Anderson had a meeting with Joe Morgan, who is the hitter coming up there now. He called him back while Griffey was taking the 3-1 pitch. And with Griffey with great speed at first, and with Rose, who's on at third, all kinds of things can happen.
It's a good situation for a play at any rate. Runners at first and third, so they can try anything. They can send the runner at first, try a delayed steal. They can put a bunt down. They can do anything. But Morgan, who can handle a bat, is up there. He's 0 for 2. Twice has flied to Fred Lynn in center. The set by Burton. A move to first base. Griffey gets back. Rose at third. Griffey at first. 1 out. 2 runs in this inning. 4 in the ball game for Cincinnati. Burton again goes to first base. Not a real quick snap throw, just something to keep Griffey as close as possible. Griffey can fly. Rose can run. So can Morgan. Again to first base 3 times, and they have yet to make a pitch to the plate.
Just wonder if he's trying to loosen up some more, because he's not really trying to pick him off. He's kind of playing catch with Cooper over there.
It's a very easy motion over there.
That he has. Griffey's got a good lead. He's got 1 foot on the artificial surface, the other one on the dirt, which indicates a big lead.
The stretch by Burton. The pitch to Morgan. Strike swinging. Finally came in and got Joe on a breaking ball. 0-1. Burton went to the University of Michigan. He graduated there in 1971. Bothered with back problems during his career until this year. Again, a throw to Cooper at first. Morgan standing in with Perez on deck. The pause, the head shake, and the pitch to the plate. Ball high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reds are threatening to blow it wide open here. They have gone ahead 4-1 in the last 2 innings after having been held in check by Wise. But boy, did they unload. Here's the set by Burton. Here's his pitch. Inside high. Ball 2. 2-1 to Morgan. Burton taking a lot of time, as well he might. Infield, back at double play depth with runners at first and third. Burleson shading second base and playing about halfway. Set, and the pitch to the plate. Fly ball going down the right field line. It's curving. It's a foul ball. Hooking foul off the left-handed bat of Morgan up against the wall, and it's 2-2.
Boy, you'd have had to track me, too, because you know that Griffey can move, Morgan can fly. I tell you, all they needed was the baton, and you'd had a 440 on your hands.
Nobody would have caught another one either, though.
Oh, boy, you'd have seen some sparks fly off those shoes. Those guys were really motoring.
2-2 to Joe Morgan. Yep, that would have been all kinds of trouble for Evans out there in right and for everybody in the infield.
You know the feeling when you're a catcher and those guys come by you like you're a maitre d' in a revolving door. Hi, Joe. Hi, Ken.
quick.
Oh, right now.
2-2 the count to Morgan. Here it is. It's low and outside. Ball 3. So now Morgan has jumped the count full. 3-2 with Burton. Reggie Cleveland continues to throw in the bullpen for Boston. So if he gets in tonight, that means it's either Lee or Moret on Thursday, regardless of what happens with Tiant tomorrow. A throw to first.
Fisk has got a lot of things on his mind. You have to look for Griffey to be running. He's going to have to stop Rose at third, and if he stops him, he'll lose a half step, and that's enough for Griffey to be safe.
Let's see if they kind of put a play on with Burleson cutting the ball off in front of the bag. Fly ball, center field. This should score a run. Rose is tagging. Lynn comes in on the ball, fires toward the plate. It is not in time. Run scores. 5-1. Sacrifice fly as Morgan for the third time flies to Lynn, but he gets it deep enough to score Rose after the catch. Griffey holds it first. A 4-run advantage for the Cincinnati Reds now, 5-1. That run charged to Wise. So Rick's complete reading now. He worked 4 1/3 innings, gave up 4 hits and 5 runs. Tony Perez is up, flied to center and walked and scored. That was a big play, the big thing that happened in the 4th inning, because there were 2 outs when he lost. Wise lost him, then the stolen base, and then the bench homer. Runner going. Pitch high, throw down to second base. Not in time. Stolen base. Ken Griffey. And here they go. Darrell Johnson moving out of the dugout as things are really not going well for number 22 and his boys tonight. He's calling for Reggie Cleveland right now. With a right-handed Perez up there and a count of 1-0 and a runner in scoring position again. Again, Johnson goes to his bullpen for the right-handed Reggie Cleveland.
It wasn't even close on a steal by Griffey, and one of the factors is that he picked a perfect pitch to run. That is the slow curveball. Fisk put extra on it, but he just couldn't compensate for Griffey's speed, who not only did he pick a good pitch to run on, he had a pretty good jump at first base.
That's 3 stolen bases in this ball game for the Reds, who stole only 1 in 2 games at Fenway, and they are back home again on their favorite turf.
You know, those 3 stolen bases, if I was grading them, I thought he had a shot maybe at Foster.
Right.
Perez, they weren't paying too much attention. He's not a good runner. Had he gotten the ball down, but it would have taken a perfect throw. But it's a little tough to ask a catcher to take a perfect throw when the first baseman and both the pitcher are conceding that he's not going to steal. And on this one, the only way he could have gotten him was with the 22 if he'd have shot him going down there, because he had a perfect pitch to run on the slow curveball. And to continue in my brief for the catchers, I must say that Fisk has not changed his the calling of a game. A lot of guys would go safety first and go to the fastball so they wouldn't look bad and get that good ball in the handle. He stays with the pitches that they talked about. They wanted to throw off-speed pitches to Perez. He stayed with him, and he got burned with it. Which, again, now to go to the positive side, the Cincinnati Ball Club, it gets a lot of publicity for the guys who hit the home runs, but it's just a well-balanced ball club. They can do a lot of things.
Reggie Cleveland throws the fastball and the slider in a straight change. His best pitch went on is the slider. During the season, he won 13 and lost 9 with a 4.43 earned run average, and worked about 171 innings, gave up 173 hits, struck out 78 and walked 52. He was maybe the best starter the Red Sox had in the final month of the season. They started him in one of the playoff games, and he didn't last it. But against Oakland, didn't do badly. And right now, this fellow from Saskatchewan, Canada, is on for the Red Sox. The man he'll face, Tony Perez, with a 1-0 count. So the responsibility for Perez is strictly Reggie Cleveland's. Griffey, a fast man at second base. 3 runs in this inning. The Reds leading 5-1. Here it is. The ball just missing outside.
Didn't take him long to disagree with the umpire. He made one pitch, and he wanted it.
Yes, he did. Cleveland has good stuff. came over from the Cardinals a couple of years ago. Strike swinging. 2 balls, 1 strike. Reggie has had, throughout the years in his career, a chronic weight problem. Got down to fighting trim this spring and kept it pretty well.
That sound means we are about to broadcast an NBC News hotline report of an important news development. The story involves a traffic accident involving President Ford's limousine in Hartford, Connecticut. We'll shortly have details of the story being assembled in the NBC newsroom. In 15 seconds, we'll have an NBC News bulletin with details on the traffic accident in Hartford involving President Ford's car. Now this hotline report from NBC News. This is an NBC News hotline report. This is Bob Kane. President Ford's limousine has been struck broadside by another vehicle as the presidential motorcade left Hartford Civic Auditorium for the return trip to Washington tonight. But White House aides, according to United Press International, say President Ford was not hurt. We repeat, United Press quotes White House aides as saying Mr. Ford was not hurt as his limousine was struck broadside by another vehicle after an appearance tonight in Hartford, Connecticut. This has been an NBC News hotline report.
We're back at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Tony Perez still up there. He has a count of 3 balls, 2 strikes now with Reggie Cleveland on the mound. There are 2 outs, 3 runs in. The Reds leading the Red Sox 5-1 in the 5th inning. 3-2 now to Tony Perez with Johnny Bench up next. Cleveland sets and throws, and it's full on and missed strike 3. He got him. Cleveland comes on to strike out Perez, and that ends the inning. But a big inning for the Reds it was. 3 runs on 3 hits, including homers by Concepcion and Geronimo. They had 1 left, and going to the 6th, the score is the Reds 5, the Red Sox 1. Well, after a rather lengthy and wild 5th inning, we're going to the 6th at Riverfront Stadium. The Red Sox in their half of the 5th got a hit but could not score. The Reds got themselves 3 runs. There were 2 pitching changes and a couple of bulletins about the president's accident in Hartford, Connecticut, and thankfully he was reported as unhurt. Denny Doyle will be first up in the 6th inning as the Red Sox really have some work to do now.
Ned, I'm having the thrill of my life broadcasting this game on radio only because I just caught a nun down there listening, and I hope she's my old English teacher. She's got to be going crazy. She's saying he's still dropping his INGs. He's not saying running. He's saying he's running.
Well, that's the way it still is on the hill, isn't it?
Yeah.
Denny Doyle up. And the first pitch to him is a ball. Doyle in this game is 0 for 2. He is grounded out and popped up. Pat Darcy throws to him, and Doyle pops this one foul, third base side. Chased by Rose, may have room. He does, and he's got it. 0 for 3 for Doyle. The Red Sox have been outplayed in every department so far tonight as the Reds have come home.
Let me ask you now, you made the point about the foul territory. You've been in that Fenway Park a lot of times. Would that ball have been in the stands?
Be close to it. It might have been a rail catch over there, I think, Joe. This one goes sharply out toward the corner, but still has more foul room than Fenway. Yastrzemski up and takes outside ball 1. Carl is 0 for 2, is grounded twice to the right side of the infield. Darcy in a no wind-up motion throws, and it's over but low, ball 2. 2-0. The Red Sox have had 4 hits in the game, the same as the Reds, but only one of them counted, a home run by Carlton Fisk. Pitch by Darcy is high and in, and it's 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes. Darcy had a little time to cool his heels in the dugout as his mates sent 7 men to the plate. What with the pitching changes, it was a long inning. 3-0. Taking a strike, and you're down by 4 runs. Not a bad idea, I guess, huh, Joe?
Not a bad idea at all. You got to get base runners now.
Yaz takes ball 4. This is inside, and a 1-out walk to Yastrzemski puts a runner on for Boston. First walk given up by Darcy. Carlton Fisk, who has accounted for the only Red Sox run of the night, is up. Clay Carroll has gotten the sign, and he is going down to the bullpen to throw again for Cincinnati, right-hander. course, Sparky Anderson can use everybody. He's got a 4-man deep bullpen that he can use long and short and any way he wants them. And he doesn't fail to get that hook out in a hurry. Fisk has homered and walked tonight. Pitch to him, low, ball 1. Darcy came on in the 5th inning. Nolan had worked well through the first 4, but had a stiff neck and had to leave the game. Strike called. Good pitch on Fisk. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Fisk's home run, probably the longest hit tonight, but it's still the short end of the score. Here it is. It's jammed and he fouls it off. 1-2. Fisk the batter with Lynn on deck. Yastrzemski running at first with 1 out. Game 3 of the 1975 World Series. Only color is red here. Now Darcy wants another baseball to work with. 1-2 to Carlton Fisk. Called Pudge since his childhood. His name is stuck. Not fat at all. The pitch is inside. Ball 2. 2-2. Perez holding around back of Yastrzemski at first.
There's one thing that really gets to a manager is that base on balls when you got yourself a 4-run lead. They really hit the water fountain.
And with cause, I guess. 2-2 pitch. Low, ball 3. Nice box by Bentz on a low outside pitch in the dirt. And now it's 3-2 to Fisk.
I'm not so sure he'd be taking, well, I was going to say, I thought it was 3-1 to tell you the truth, because this guy can pop it and you turn him loose, and he's starting to aim that ball.
Yeah, he is. We'll watch Yastrzemski off first. A 4-step lead, half held there by Perez. He's holding. The pitch is low, ball 4, and Fisk is on. And the Red Sox have 2 base runners with 1 out. Back-to-back walks to Yastrzemski and Fisk, bringing up Fred Lynn.
You can see what Bench is thinking when he goes out there. If this guy pops one, you got yourself a ball game.
Yep, right back in it again. Lynn has had 1 hit tonight. He flied to center in the 2nd, and then he singled sharply in the 4th, sending Fisk to 3rd, but on the throw over there, Concepcion cut the ball off, and Lynn was a dead bird at first.
Have to always remind those pitchers after they walk a couple, don't let up on that first pitch. He may jump on it.
Lynn takes the ball outside. It tailed away from a left-handed batter. And it is ball 1. Carroll throwing hard in the bullpen for Cincinnati. Yastrzemski at 2nd. Fisk at 1st. Lynn takes a strike. Good fastball up and in. A ball and a strike to Freddie. Darcy backs off a moment. Here's the set and the pitch. Gets a good rip but fouls it off. And now Darcy has the edge, 1-2. In the Red Sox bullpen, Jim Willoughby is throwing. So each bullpen busy with right-handers. Carroll for the Reds. Here's the pitch to Lynn. Goes for an outside pitch and fouls it off. Just protecting the plate on that one.
He fought off a good pitch is what he did.
Yep. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Darcy comes in with a pitch, and it's in the dirt, gets behind Bench. The runners move up. Yastrzemski to 3rd, Fisk to 2nd, and that takes off any double play possibility. A wild pitch in the dirt. Bounced and off the chest protector of Bench. No way that Johnny could handle that at all. Wild pitch charged to Darcy, and now runners in scoring position at 2nd and 3rd. The count on Lynn is 2-2. Big spot for him. Joe Morgan gathers the group out there at the mound. Concepcion comes in, having a word with Darcy.
He's got to settle him down to the point where you almost talk him into saying, look, you got to try to keep the run from scoring, but you gave yourself up for a run with that play.
key situation for the Red Sox now. Lynn swings and foul tips it out of the mid of bench behind him and hangs in there alive. The Red Sox in this series, in all 3 games, in each of the 3 games, at least once, have missed opportunities to score when they've had as many as 2 people on base. They did it on Sunday for a while, a couple of times. They did it on Saturday even when they won, before they broke out. They've done it tonight. Lynn reaches and hits a high fly ball to shallow left center. Foster over, makes the catch. Here comes Yaz. Here comes the throw. Yastrzemski scores, and it's 5-2. They ran on Foster's arm, which they did at Fenway the other day, too. Sacrifice fly for Lynn. Foster making the catch. His throw was too late. Yaz scored, and Fisk held at second. It's now Reds 5 and the Red Sox 2.
That could be one of those plays that they might talk about in the clubhouse, the Cincinnati clubhouse. Geronimo was there. He possibly could have taken the play. And not to take anything away from Foster, Geronimo has one of the stronger arms, if not the strongest arm in the National League.
But it was Foster taking the ball in left center. Geronimo actually would have had a pretty good beat on it, too, coming over. And now it's Petrocelli, and this one's in the dirt. Nice stop by Johnny Bench.
Fantastic play by Bench on that one. He shifted, so it was a breaking ball, and when the ball hits with that kind of spin, it usually breaks to the opposite side. So you really got to get over there to really get in front of it, and John did just a masterful job.
Darcy throws. Rico takes inside, ball 2. Darcy is either high and inside or low and away. He's having trouble.
It's one of those days for Bench that it's a yo-yo day, man. You're up and down.
The stretch and the pitch. Strike call, picked up the corner. 2-1 to Petrocelli, who is 1 for 2. He singled in the second and was robbed of a hit in the fourth on a great play by Joe Morgan. Here it comes. High, ball 3. 3-1 now. Carroll is definitely warm down in right field. They want him. 3 balls, 1 strike to Petrocelli. Evans on deck. Here it comes. Rico bangs one to shortstop, comes up for Concepcion, throws over to first. That's all. In the 6th inning, 1 run for the Red Sox, no hits. They leave 1. And going to the bottom of the 6th inning, it's Red Sox 2 and Cincinnati 5. Reds leading 5-2 as they come to bat in the bottom of the 6th inning against Reggie Cleveland. It's a long way from being over, but so far the Cincinnati ball club has asserted itself tonight, has taken the upper hand in the power department, in the base running department, and in defense. Johnny Bench moving first in against Cleveland. Bench has grounded out and hit a 2-run homer. That homer seems to have been hit 3 weeks ago, but it really was only in the 4th inning. That was the first hit off Rick Wise, and it plated 2 runs. Cleveland getting ready. Reggie kicks and throws, and the curve is outside, ball 1. Cleveland was quite an athlete in high school in Canada. He threw the javelin, and he played curling. You ever play that, Joe?
No, never played that.
Swinging strike to Bench, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike.
And I know what you're thinking. They didn't ask me to catch the javelin either.
Did you ever swing with one?
No, I probably would have missed anyhow.
The 1-1 delivery. It's a foul ball off to the right. Bench tried to punch one to right field on that one, the slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Reds leading 5-2 in Game 3. Tomorrow, Louis Tiant will go for the Red Sox. Either Don Gullett or Fred Norman for Sparky Anderson, depending on the outcome of this game. Pitch is inside to Bench, ball 2.
I don't know about you, Ned, but I'm kind of anxious to see the reaction that Tiant will get from these Cincinnati fans, because guarantee you, sometime during the night, he'll look you right in the eye, regardless of where you're sitting.
That's right. Swinging strike, and Cleveland with a slider strikes out Johnny Bench. So Reggie's done just about letter-perfect work since coming in. Struck out Perez with a man on second in the 5th to end the inning, and he strikes out Bench to lead off the 6th. Here is Foster, who is 0 for 1. He has walked and grounded out. Foster standing in. Cleveland deals. High fly ball to left, not deep. Yastrzemski moving in under it. Toward left center, grabs it for the out. There are two away, and here is Dave Concepcion, who started off the big fifth inning for Cincinnati with a home run. That was immediately followed by a home run by Geronimo, the first back-to-back homers ever by a National League team in World Series history. It's been done 7 times, but this is the first time by a National League club. I would assume that maybe Ruth and Gehrig were in on that at one time for the American League somewhere along the line.
Good chance they did it.
Concepcion takes a strike from Cleveland. Wise started. Burton came on for a third of an inning in the 5th, and Reggie finished off the 5th. One strike to Concepcion. Check swing foul, another slider.
Whoops.
Reggie's got that one going pretty well so far.
If I got the commissioner, I'm not too concerned about him, but Julian Goodman, chairman of the NBC's down there, and don't want to hit the franchise. You duck him, Julian. My family's worried about it.
2 strikes. It's a fastball away from Foster. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That could be the worst slump I've ever had if the boss gets hit.
That would take care of you, wouldn't it?
Oh.
Ground ball, right side. Cooper nabs it and runs over to touch first base. A 1-2-3 inning for Reggie Cleveland as he quiets the Reds down. Going to inning number 7, the score. Cincinnati 5, Boston 2. NBC Radio's coverage of the World Series will continue after station identification.
Autumn is a special time of the year. Everyone's getting together for good times, and good times call for a special beer. Holsten Lager from Hamburg, Germany, the rare Hamburg. Holsten Lager is crisp, light, authentically German, a fine lager with a fine tradition and the honest taste of a northern brew. Holsten Lager is available at your favorite store and tavern. Leonard Kreusch Incorporated, Carlstadt, New Jersey, exclusive importer.
This is WNWS-FM New York, where you'll hear news and information live 24 hours a day at 97 on your FM dial. News FM.
Moving to the top of the 7th. The Red Sox trailing 5-2. Darcy pitching. Evans belting one up the middle. Past Concepcion into center field. Leadoff single for Dwight Evans. Ground ball that just eluded the run by Concepcion going to his left. So the Red Sox, oddly enough, now are out hitting Cincinnati 5-4, but are trailing where it counts. Dave, Concepcion didn't miss that by much. Sparky Anderson making his first appearance of the night, and he wants the right-hander Clay Carroll right now. I think he's seen enough of Darcy, and he goes to another member of his bullpen crew.
Can't help but always watch when Sparky walks out there. He says he's not superstitious, Ned, but he always manages to avoid stepping on the white lines. And then he says, I don't know why I do that, because if it was helping me, what would I be going out there for in the first place? So when he goes back, he'll try to avoid stepping on that white line as he makes the pitching change as the hawk comes in.
Darcy worked 2 innings plus, facing one man here in the 7th. He gave up 2 hits and 1 run. He's responsible for a runner. He walked 2, and he had a wild pitch. Had no strikeouts.
Don't step on that line, Spark. Watch him. 1, 2. Nice. See?
Yeah, he got out of the line and through that 3-foot line also. Foul ground. Clay Carroll, who has already made an appearance in this series. A right-hander coming on. He worked in the opener, and he pitched no part of an inning. He walked the only man he faced, Carlton Fisk, and that scored a run. He was charged with a run later. In the second game, he did not work.
Very personable guy. I always get a big kick out of it because every time he sees me, he says he always talks about the late and great Dizzy Dean broadcast, and he says, you know, back home in Clanton, Alabama, he said, everybody talked like Diz. I don't know why they were making fun of the way he talked.
That's right. Clanton, Alabama. He lives in Florida now. He was 7-5 on the regular season with a 2.63 earned run average.
He throws strikes. He plays good old country hardball. He'll come at you.
And he saved 7. Here's a pitch to Burleson, a called strike. Rick Burleson has himself a base hit, in the 2 base hits in this game. 1 base hit in the fielder's choice. Fouls it up here. 0-2 to Burleson. Evans is at first base. The Red Sox still trying to run at Cincinnati. They trail by 3. Will McEnany, a left-hander, throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Willoughby still throwing for Boston. Carroll to the set. Throws. Breaking ball outside and low. Dive by Bench again into the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Burleson. Carroll pauses, pitches, fastball hit to Morgan, maybe 2. Over to Concepcion to first, double play. Easy double play, 4 to 6 to 3, just what they wanted. So now there are 2 away, and Bernie Carbo is going to bat for Reggie Cleveland. Bernie Carbo, who used to play with this ball club in this park, batting for Reggie Cleveland. That means that we'll get a look at Jim Willoughby in the bottom of this inning. Carbo's been up once in this series as a pinch hitter and is 0 for 1. Left-handed batter, inside-out stroke. He lined to left field in the 9th inning of Game 2. Fly ball deep left field. Back it goes, and it's over the wall for a home run for Bernie Carbo. Do they call it a homer? They do. It's got to be. He stopped at second base. He wondered where the ball was. That one just got over the yellow line and disappeared over the first fence for Carbo's home run. And he comes back to haunt his former ball club and bring the Red Sox 1 run closer. It is now Cincinnati 5 and the Red Sox 3.
He had something to say to Johnny Bench because John was needling him when he came up to hit. And Carbo, with that inside-out swing that you talked about, his out that he made in Boston, he hit that ball hard. He jumped on the fastball, and not only does it put a run on the scoreboard, here comes Sparky Anderson out again to make his move.
Yep.
He's
McEnany
warming up, and Cooper is the batter, and Sparky with that good bullpen makes those moves in a hurry. Carroll got 2 big outs at double play, and now he's got to give the ball up, and here comes McEnany.
Well, here we go. We haven't got to Bourbon yet, but we may see him before the night's over.
You haven't got Eastwick either. No. He's got a lot of them. I'll tell you, 2 pretty good ball clubs. You put runs on the scoreboard, you just can't lay back and say, hey, I got myself a 4-run lead. They'll come at you. Both ball clubs, again, they got people on the bench they can make moves with. They do make moves. Both ball clubs well equipped with reserves as well as the starting 9.
Well, Bernie came off there. He got a very good first half, Joe. He had a lot of home runs. Then he got hurt, and then he tailed off, and then it was Jim Rice out there from then on.
You look at that Red Sox bench. Now, you mentioned Rice, who's not able to play, but Benitez still hasn't made an appearance here. Rick Miller. There are good players on both benches.
McEnany has been busy this series. This is his 3rd appearance in the 3 games. He pitched 1 inning on Sunday and gave up no runs and no hits. He pitched an inning on Saturday in the opener, gave up 2 hits and 1 run. And here he comes again. Will McEnany, left-hander, as they want him to face the top of that order, which has 3 left-handers coming up in a row, Cooper, Doyle, and Yastrzemski. The home run has been the main thing tonight, along with the Cincinnati defense. The pitching is starting to wobble on both sides.
Not to belabor the point, but you heard so much about that fence in Boston. The home runs that were hit here today, that one by Carbo and one by Concepcion, would have been probably stopped by the wall. The other ones, I think, would have made it. Well, how do you see it, Ned?
Well, the Carbo one just about made it over here, but it had an arc to it, so it might have hit the screen, but it very often might have been high off the wall for a single or double.
I think Fisk and Bench and Geronimo's anywhere. Concepcion's might have been stopped.
Cecil Cooper up, and he slaps one in the air back of shortstop. Concepcion is there, and he has it for the out. 1 pitch, McEnany gets Cooper, and the inning is over. 1 run for the Red Sox. They had a pair of hits, including the homer by Carbo. And they leave nobody. And going to the bottom of the 7th inning, it's Cincinnati 5, the Red Sox 3. Right-handed pitcher Jim Willoughby on for the Red Sox now. Reggie Cleveland did all that was asked of him. He faced 4 batters and retired all of them in his inning in the 3rd before going out for a pinch hitter, and he had 2 strikeouts. And now Willoughby, fellow who his windup looks like he's falling downstairs some of the way. He's very herky-jerky. They acquired him from Tulsa, from the St. Louis organization in mid-season in July as a part return for the Mario Guerrero trade. Willoughby responded very well for the Red Sox and became a very valuable player in July and August. He got a tender arm, a tired arm after that, didn't pitch much in September, and when he did pitch was ineffective. First man he'll face, Cesar Geronimo. Strike call. Willoughby formerly pitched for the Giants. Had a couple of good years over there with San Francisco. Then went to the minors and was never heard from again until this summer. Delivers. Check swing, it's low. He throws a sinker primarily. He keeps the ball down. He'll throw a lot of ground balls.
First time I saw him in one of our Game of the Week telecasts, Ned, he had some kind of sinker going. They just brought him up. He kept that ball right about at the knees and lower.
When he's right, that's what happens. Breaking pitch hit deep to center field. Lynn going back. Lynn is there, and he's got it. Edge of the warning path for out number 1. Geronimo, who homered his previous time up, hit the ball a long way. 1 out. And McEnany is coming to bat. Will McEnany, the Cincinnati pitcher, left-handed batter. That's as he throws. Willoughby fires and misses outside, a ball. Willoughby, in a string of 15 games after he was acquired, either saved or won 13 of them. Strike call. A ball and a strike. He is chasing an electrical engineering degree off-season. It's taken him a while. He went to University of California at Berkeley. Bouncing ball over his head, near second. Doyle has it. Throws to first. And out of the glove of Cecil Cooper. McEnany is safe. A low hurried throw by Denny Doyle. It'll go as a base hit. They are giving McEnany an infield hit. Doyle had to go to his right and hurry his throw. Cooper went out in a long stretch and tried to scoop it out of the dirt, but it got out of his glove. It's an infield hit. And the Reds have a base runner with 1 out. Top of the order, Pete Rose, the batter. This is the 7th inning. Cincinnati 5, the Red Sox 3. Rose is 1 for 3, had a triple in the 5th. Pitch to him is line to third. Petrocelli throws to first, double play. An easy double play as Rose lines right into the glove of Rico Petrocelli, and they had McEnany naked at first base. So it is no runs, 1 hit, nobody left. As we go to the 8th inning, the score, Cincinnati 5 and Boston 3. NBC Radio's coverage of the World Series will continue after station identification.
Everybody's talking about the rare Hamburg, Holsten Lager from Hamburg, Germany, the new beer in town. They're talking about the rare brew, lagered and bottled in Hamburg, and they're talking about the rare taste, crisp, light, and authentically German. Everything a great northern beer should be. A fine lager to complement fine food or satisfy a hearty thirst. Ask for Holsten Lager at your favorite store and tavern. Leonard Kreisch Incorporated, Carlstadt, New Jersey, exclusive importer.
This is WNWS-FM New York, where you'll hear news and information live 24 hours a day at 97 on your FM dial.
Top
News
of the 9th inning
FM.
at Riverfront Stadium. The Red Sox up and trailing by 2. Freddie Lynn swings at McEnany's first pitch, strike 1. Lynn has had 1 hit tonight and a run batted in. He's 1 for 2. McEnany kicks and throws. Freddie swings, waves at that one. Strike 2, he looked bad. Will McEnany is bearing down and looking very, very tough out there. He's retired the 4 batters that he's faced. Pitching 2 strikes. Lynn takes outside. 1-2 to Fred. Reds leading 5-3. Big momentum game here. Lynn fouls one back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It hasn't exactly been a laugher for the Reds, although they tried to make it that way when they got those home runs in the 4th and 5th. The 1-2 pitch. High fastball, 2-2. Eastwick throwing in the bullpen for Cincinnati. And Dick Pohl, the big right-hander, throwing in the Red Sox bullpen. 2-2 to Lynn. Check swing, strike 3, he's out. He just puts his hands in his hips and walks away. Checked his swing all right, but the pitch was over. And now there's one away. No, he went around on the swing, really. 2 strikeouts for McEnany since coming in. Petrocelli up, he's 1 for 3. He is 2 for 4 now as he singles sharply to center field. A line drive single by Rico Petrocelli. He's got 6 hits in the series. So now it comes to the point where the tying run will be coming up. That's how this game has gone. Dwight Evans is up. He moves back to the on-deck circle to get another bat. I want to see what Sparky Anderson is going to do now. He's got the hard-throwing right-hander, Raleigh Eastwick, ready in the bullpen.
When he comes out of that dugout, he usually puts the hook out there, and he's already made his move, and McEnany will be replaced by Eastwick. So if nothing else, the Red Sox certainly have seen practically the entire pitching staff. They have seen the whole bullpen crew. As Sparky Anderson, with that tying run at the plate, makes his move. McEnany gets a nice hand here.
McEnany went an inning and 2/3 in relief. It'll be interesting to see who they regard as a winning pitcher in this game, as Cincinnati does win it right here. The McEnany gave up 1 hit and no runs. He's responsible for a runner. Walked nobody. He struck out 2. And Raleigh Eastwick, who looked very, very effective on Sunday, is coming on.
Hard thrower, Eastwick. Throws strikes, as does the entire bullpen for that matter. Not too much finesse. And I tell you, when you go to that bullpen, you want a guy who throws strikes. I guess it's one of the oldest baseball sayings going. You don't want them to think, you want them to throw. They're not going to finesse anybody. The trouble is there. The tying run is at the plate. It's a 5-3 score, Cincinnati leading. And Eastwick has got to go out and get that hitter. And it's a tough one, Evans.
Eastwick threw 2 innings on Sunday, the last 2 innings, and got the win. He walked 1 and gave up a hit and struck out 1 in the 2 innings that he worked. On the season, he was 5-3 with 22 saves, leading the ball club in games saved. He had an earned run average of 2.60, and he could strike out a few people. He gave up only 77 hits in 90 innings, struck out 61, and he walked only 25. 4 of those were intentional. So he was what a reliever is supposed to be. 1 out, 1 on, 9th inning. The Red Sox trailed by 2. Pedro Bourbon, about the only one left around, is going to throw now in the bullpen for Cincinnati. And Dick Drago is up in the Red Sox pen. So the lines are drawn and the wheels are spinning. And here we go to the batter, Dwight Evans. Evans has 1 hit in 3 trips. He singled his last time up. The Red Sox are out hitting the Reds 7-5, but trailing in the game 5-3. But we're in the ninth with a tying run at home plate. Eastwick struck out Evans on Sunday, called 3rd strike. Right-hander delivers, and Dwight takes low. Ball 1, gets away from bench momentarily, but no advance. 1 ball, no strikes. The outfield straight away on Evans. They don't claim to pull against Eastwick. Goes for 1, high drive to left field. Back near the wall goes Foster. At the wall, he can't get it. The game is tied up. All tied up as Dwight Evans homers in the 9th with a man on, and the Red Sox have pulled even 5-5. Holy crow. Evans hit the ball high in the air. It was a matter of whether it was going to make the wall. It didn't look like Foster would catch it. Petrocelli gives Evans the hand as they go into the dugout, and the Red Sox are brand new, Joe.
I tell you, both ball clubs, good reserves, good players. It's going to be a World Series where I think you're going to see a lot of this, Ned. Not going to be gimmicks or trick plays. It's going to be good, solid baseball.
Burleson takes high and tight, ball 1, and the whole thing has changed around.
That thing called momentum everybody talks about is now in that Red Sox dugout.
Burley takes a strike on a fastball from Eastwick. 1 run belongs to McEnany, but the tying run belongs to Eastwick. Strike called. Good pitch at the letters to Burleson. Well, if you're looking to the bottom of the ninth now, Bench, Foster, and Concepcion will be up for the Reds. Eastwick pitching to Burleson. There's a blooper toward left center field. Dropping fast. He base hit out of the reach of Joe Morgan, who gave a swipe as he went back from his second base position. It's a base hit for Burleson, and Burley is now 2 for 4. Rick Burleson punches a Texas League single out of the reach of Morgan and Geronimo. And now the Red Sox have the lead run at first with 1 out. They now have 9 hits in the game. Well, this has turned into a barn burner, hasn't it, Mr. Gratiot?
I tell you, man, you got to expect it. These 2 ball clubs just too good. They got balance on both sides. Rose looking for a bunt.
Jim Willoughby up, the pitcher, and they're looking to his right. And
watch the pickoff.
Go to first base, not in time. They had the play going with Perez charging and Morgan covering first, and Burleson was almost picked off on an alert throw by Johnny Bench.
I got a bit excited, Ned. I have to excuse myself. I watched that Bench. When a catcher can make a play like that in a spot like this, he just shot that ball there, just knowing full confidence that Morgan would be there to make the play, and he actually caught that ball on the run. That was really a play. A lot of hours have gone into that play. It just doesn't happen.
It was a quarterback firing a spot over the line.
That's about it, baby.
There's the bunt by Willoughby, a good one. First base play, Perez to Morgan. Sacrifice gets Burleson to second. 2 outs. Willoughby does his job. Play going from Tony Perez to Joe Morgan covering. And Burleson moves into scoring position. And right now it's up to Cecil Cooper, who is hitless on the night. He's 0 for 4 and has had only 1 hit in the series. He is 1 for 12, and he is due. So they'll have to watch him. He's a left-handed hitter. 2 outs, Cooper up with Doyle on deck. Moret trots out now to warm up in the bullpen for Boston. Bourbon is warming for Cincinnati. 5-5, top of the ninth. Here's the pitch to Coop, and he pops it up. Coming back, it's going to be out of play. Foul ball, straight back. Here's a big spot for Eastwick and for Mr. Cooper. Red Sox have come from a 5-1 deficit to tie it up. Pitch by Eastwick is inside, running in on Cooper. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and one with 2 down, and Burleson, big run on his shoulders at second base. Here it comes to Cooper, and he spikes it foul, out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mercy, we've had a night here. 1 and 2. Eastwick checking down. Pitching to Cooper, and he swings and fouls it off. A ball and 2 strikes. Cooper has had some big hits this year, and for the long ball, too. He's primarily a line drive hitter, but he whacked a lot of big home runs. He beat Jim Palmer in the 11th inning in a game down in Baltimore with 1 in September. The pitch to him, and he fouls it off again. Just staying in there. Fighting those outside pitches and spoiling them. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
The defense really isn't stacked that way. Foster is playing him towards the left field line, but there is a lot of room in left center field. Geronimo, Concepcion, is near the bag. Geronimo is straight away.
The 1-2 pitch to Cooper, and he fly ball to center field shallow. Coming on is Geronimo. He's got it, and the inning is over. But the Red Sox come up with 2 runs. On 3 hits, including a 2-run homer by Dwight Evans. They leave 1, going to the bottom of the ninth. The game tied up 5-5. Okay, we go to the bottom of the ninth inning at Riverfront. The Red Sox and the Reds tied up 5-5, and now the Red Sox hopes lie on the shoulders of Jim Willoughby, who has pitched 2 scoreless innings in relief, keeping the ball down. But he's got to face Here's Johnny Bench right now. The starry Reds catcher with a 2-run homer and 3 trips to the plate. Standing in. Moret and Drago in the bullpen for Boston. Left and right-handers. Willoughby gets the sign from Fisk, and here we go. Throws a swinging strike. Jim Willoughby, who has kind of curly hair that pops out from each side of his hat. Very cool chess player. Throws. Ground foul, left side. Taken in the bullpen. Diego Segui down there guarding the pitchers and catchers in the bullpen. Bench struck out swinging his last time up. That was against Reggie Cleveland. Foster on deck. Willoughby with a 2-strike pitch. Ground ball, third base way. Nice scoop by Petrocelli. Throws him out. 1 down. Rico had to go to his left and deep. Let the ball play him a little bit so he could get the good hop. 1 down. George Foster up. Foster has walked, grounded out, and flied to left. 1 out in the 9th inning. The game tied up, 5-5. Long look by Willoughby. Goes to work now. Foul ball. 1 strike to Foster, a right-handed batter. Dave Concepcion. Remember him? He's up next. Fisk hangs out the sign, and Willoughby gets ready. Throws. Ground ball left side. Taken deep at short by Burleson. Long throw taken by Cooper for the out. Cecil Cooper made a nice play on a sinking fastball by Burleson. He had to back up across the bag and take the hop. 2 outs.
He had a decision to make, Ned, and he did it so well. He backed up on the ball because he was in between hops, and by backing up, he made it just 1 big hop because Burleson threw from that outer line, and that's a long way to throw. And I tell you, when that ball died, Cooper was in no man's land, but he danced behind that bag and made a fine play.
Yastrzemski played first base all year, and he said that Burleson has the most wicked sinker of any infielder he could know. He really has a natural one. 2 outs, and Concepcion is up. Ground ball to third. 1 hopper to Petrocelli. The throw to first base. We go to extra innings. 1-2-3 inning for Willoughby as the Reds are down in the bottom of the 9th. And going to the 10th inning, the score is tied 5-5.
Well, we move to the top half of the 10th inning, all tied up at 5 apiece. Ned, you can't get much closer. This is game 3, and 2 of the 3 games, 9th inning or better already.
Yeah, and if it hadn't been for just that 1 big inning on Saturday that the Red Sox had, they may have been playing that one yet, too, because they got their runs then, and Tiant was spinning his magic. Otherwise, well, that's a close one.
2 evenly matched ball clubs, the Cincinnati Reds and the Boston Red Sox, and it shows as we're tied 5-5, top of the 10th. Denny Doyle will lead it off, followed by Yastrzemski and Carlton Fisk against Raleigh Eastwick. Pete Rose moves in a couple steps at third base. They play Doyle fairly shallow. Takes the first pitch over. It's strike 1, a fastball. Eastwick touched for a home run by Dwight Evans to tie it up. And that Red Sox bench came alive. The 1-strike pitch now. Swing and a miss. He had a good cut. Looked like a sinking fastball. He swung over it. Now Pete Rose drops back at third base. Morgan is deep at second base. Perez behind the bag at first. Concepcion moving a couple steps towards the hole. Foul ball down the left field line. It's pretty obvious they feel that Doyle will be pretty much a straightaway hitter until he gets 2 strikes, and he's going to lay the bat on the ball. So Concepcion cheated a couple steps towards the hole between short and third. Foster guards the line in left field. A lot of room in left center. 2-strike pitch, way high and outside. He hits the ball in left center. Geronimo is going to have to shift into 2 or 3 gears to catch up with it. A lot of room out there. 5-5, top of the 10th, 1-2 pitch. Low. Johnny Bench doesn't think so, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bench not turning around, but you can bet me he's saying, now come on, where was that ball? And Barnett is saying, if it's a strike, I'll tell you. You just call him. 2-2 pitch. High, ball 3. You can talk to umpires all day long as long as you never turn around. You turn around, if you got bad breath, they'll launch you. 3 balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. Swung on a bouncing ball up the middle. Going to be a tough play. Morgan gets it, can't make the play. It's an infield hit. Concepcion tried to make the play. He ended up in practically short right field. Morgan got the ball, but there was nothing he could do. So Doyle beats out an infield hit, and the Red Sox have the tie-breaking run on. Now it's Carl Yastrzemski. And Ned, I'm going to ask you to play manager. You've watched this ball club. I would believe with Yastrzemski, I don't care, he would be bunting.
He hasn't done it all year.
Okay, here we go.
Now, you might be in this particular point, but they never call for him to bunt. He bunts on his own when he does bunt, and it's usually to get for a base hit. Lynn will bunt to sacrifice, but Yaz has not done it.
He is swinging away, and he takes it high outside, ball 1. Tonight's attendance, a standing room only crowd, 55,000. Is that an 8 or a 3?
Got me.
Well, it's 92. Glad I don't have it. Oh, there it is, 392. Low curveball, ball 2, 55,392. Second largest crowd ever to watch a baseball game in Cincinnati.
Beautiful.
2 balls and no strikes on Yastrzemski. Doyle a big lead at first base. 2-0 pitch. Deep to center field. Going back is Geronimo near the warning track and makes the catch. A one-hand grab at the wall. Yastrzemski picked the deepest part of the ballpark, and Geronimo hauled it in. 404 feet, and his back was up against the wall. And this crowd really breathing deep with relief as Geronimo went way back to the warning track, up against the wall, and makes the catch.
Bumped into the wall right after the catch, too.
Yes, sir. Doyle kind of had the feeling it would be a base hit. He was halfway, so he had to come back to first base. And now it brings up Carlton Fisk. Yastrzemski really gave that ball a ride, but a long out. Doyle a lead. Here's the pitch. Low and inside, ball 1. Fisk a power man, but we're tied 5-5 in the 10th. He can handle a bat. He can punch the ball into right field. So you've got to be ready for anything. They may start Doyle. He's got a good lead at first. Eastwick checking. Bourbon throws for Cincinnati in the bullpen. There's the strike over the inside corner. Yastrzemski, a long, hard out. Deepest part of the ballpark. 404 feet. Geronimo made a fine play. Eastwick, 1-1 pitch. High and outside, ball 2. Now, Fisk takes a good look at Zimmer. If you're going to put a play on, this is the old manager's delight. 2 balls and 1 strike right here. They love to try it. Let's see what happens. Doyle a lead. He's going. The pitch is swung on, a bouncing ball. Morgan has it. Tags the runner out. Over to first. Double play. Doyle was tagged by Morgan, who broke the cover, and Morgan quickly fired to first, and it was a double play. So that ends the inning for the Red Sox. And as we go into the bottom half of the 10th, it's Boston 5 and Cincinnati 5.
Here at Red Cross National Headquarters in Washington, D.C., there is a special little place to visit, a small museum reflecting a great many years of service to the American people, a hall of mercy. Down this corridor, history comes to life, a history of people helping people. There are photographs, documents, and memorabilia of Red Cross assistance during times of peace, of national crisis, and times of natural disaster, from the Civil War years to the 1970s. Great Americans are remembered here. Dedicated Red Cross volunteers who develop the vast blood program, community health and safety programs, in addition to youth service activities. And the list goes on. Yes, this is a special museum. a small tribute to those who are ever extending a helping hand just like a good neighbor. And that's what the Red Cross is all about.
Bottom half of the 10th inning and 55,392, a standing room only crowd. And what a tremendous game they are getting. Fisk gave the Red Sox a run in the second. Bench a 2-run homer in the fourth. And they had the lead, and then the Cincinnati Reds came up with 3 runs in the fifth. Home run by Concepcion, one by Geronimo, and a triple by Pete Rose. They had their 5 runs, and those Red Sox kept chipping away. 2 base on balls, a sacrifice fly in the 6th. Home run by Carbo as a pinch hitter in the 7th. And a 2-run homer by Evans in the 9th. And that's the way we stand, 5-5. It has been a team effort.
Each way.
On both sides. Now it's Willoughby against Geronimo. Here's the first pitch. Capped foul, strike 1. Defensively, it's a very odd defense. Petrocelli is playing Geronimo as if he were a right-handed pull hitter. Burleson, the shortstop, is over near the bag. Doyle is deep and straight away, and Cooper guards the line at first. Outfield, straight away. The 1-strike pitch. Strike 2, fastball caught the inside corner right at the belt. 2 strikes to count on Cesar Geronimo. He had a home run in the 5th. Hit the ball hard in the 7th. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. Good sinker by Willoughby. One ball, 2 strikes. Willoughby delivers. Hot smash, past Doyle into center field. It's a base hit. Doyle diving to his right, couldn't come up with it, and Lynn fires it back to the infield. Geronimo is on. And now it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter, Ed Armbrister. Armbrister will be the pinch hitter for Raleigh Eastwick. Armbrister hit the big sacrifice fly in that Pittsburgh game. He played in 59 games for the Reds. Batted 185, only got to bat 65 times, no home runs. I gotta believe he's up there to handle that bat, which means he would be up there bunting. What do you do as a pitcher? Do you throw that high fastball and hope that he pops it up, or do you just lay the ball in there to make sure he bunts the ball so you can gun it to second base and maybe get a double play? A lot of things run through your mind. Petrocelli starts to move in. Cooper holds Geronimo close at first base. Not much he can do. Geronimo with great speed. Willoughby at the belt, checks the runner. Flips to first base now, but Geronimo is back easily. And that was a pretty good tip-off because as he made his move, Armbrister slid his hands up the bat handle, indicating he was bunting. Pitchers will do that to help out catchers. Squares around outside, ball 1. Many times when you're catching in a spot like this, you're 99% sure, but you want that other little extra. So you point to your pitcher to throw over to first base, because if a guy is a little anxious, and in a spot like this you would figure Armbrister to be, as soon as you make a move, he'll indicate by sliding his hands up the bat handle, which he did. Ready, Willoughby checks the runner. Armbrister waiting, squares around, bunts it in front of the plate. Fisk is going to go to second. The throw is high into center field. Geronimo heads for third. Here's the throw. It is not in time. Going to second is Armbrister. And now they're claiming interference. Darrell Johnson is out arguing that Fisk ran into him. And Barnett's got a rhubarb on his hands now. Darrell Johnson has come out to argue. Fisk trying to throw around the batter, Armbrister. Petrocelli has walked over, but it's Johnson who has the floor. Armbrister bunted. Fisk came up with the ball. Fired to second base. Off the glove of Burleson. Into center field, allowing Geronimo to go to third. And in the second goes Armbrister. And now Johnson wants to talk to first base umpire Stello, while Fisk takes up the argument with Larry Barnett.
could be a very close call there. That ball was not that far in front of the plate. People were running into each other at home plate almost. Fisk tried to take the shot at the front man, which was the play to do. His throw was a little bit high, got away, and it ended up now in a real mess for the Red Sox with runners at second and third and nobody out.
Now Dick Stello is coming in from first base, and after having talked to Johnson, now Fisk is trying to make a case, and Stello is explaining to him, and Johnson is working on Barnett. Meanwhile, Gramus is standing at third base talking to Geronimo. Satch Davison, the umpire, is standing there. The umpire at second base. George Maloney, arms folded. And we've got meetings all over this place, man.
Be a sacrifice fielder's choice and another error on Fisk, who has had 2 throwing errors tonight. And Carlton is really hot. He's coming as close as anybody to being thrown out.
And now here comes Burleson, and Fisk is really going at it, and Johnson is coming back out. He's trying to keep Fisk in the ball game. And he's trying to get not only Fisk, and Fisk is really upset as he goes behind the plate. Fisk walking away from Barnett. They're in a jam. He's trying to settle himself down. Johnson has gotten a signal from the bullpen that his bullpen is ready. He's going to have to put Rose on to try to set up a force at every base, and then he's got Griffey, Morgan, and Perez. Boys, don't leave now, and it's a tired, used expression, but that's like asking the guy in the electric chair, how do you want it, AC or DC?
Roger Moret is going to come into the ball game, and Jim Willoughby did a good job while he was in there. It's not entirely his fault. He had the ball being hit on the ground, which was what Geronimo's single was, a hard shot indeed, getting to the right of Denny Doyle, who couldn't get up with it, and it was a clean single. But here was the bunt, and then the argument, and a jumble of people all around home plate there as Fisk finally came up with the ball and elected to go to second. Almost got his man, but threw it away. And now the winning run is just at third base with nobody out. And Roger Moret will have the choice to come in there to bat to Rose, who will turn around, be put on, and see what happens with Griffey.
I tell you, we've had so many meetings. Fisk is having another meeting with Barnett behind the plate. Stello is talking to Sugar. As I look in the commissioner's box, he's having a meeting with Joe Cronin, who used to run the American League.
And Hank Aaron is in on the argument, too, I think.
Hank Aaron is in on it. Moret is starting to take his warm-up tosses. Geronimo is standing on the bag at third. Armbrister is standing on the bag at second. Rose is waiting. As you can see that they're going to have to set up a force at all the bases.
Then you've got to do it with a pitcher whose main problem this year, Joe, has been inconsistency in his control. Moret can throw as hard as anybody on this staff, and maybe almost as hard as Gullett on the Cincinnati staff. But you look at his figures, and he's struck out about as many as he's walked.
Well, that may dictate him pitching. You couldn't afford to put him on. So Johnson, boy, I tell you, it's like the guy said. You get half your money for winning, half your money for worrying, and you get nothing for losing. And he's earning it tonight because he's getting double time and worrying. Now everybody's moving in. The infield is moving in. The outfield is moving in. Moret wipes his brow. They don't have to tell him he's in trouble, and they're going to pitch to him. Nope, now they're going to put him on. They're going to put him on. Fisk had gone into the crouch, but now they're going to put him on to load it up. They got to try for a force at every base.
You have to do it, especially with a left-hander coming up. And Rose is the kind of hitter that's going to beat you anyway, somehow.
You got to try for that force at every base. He's got to go for the strikeout on Griffey, and you got to hope that Morgan hits that comebacker so you can go to the plate and go to first.
It's a lot to hope for, but it sometimes happens.
Man, that takes 10, 12 candles on Sunday morning to do that. There goes Rose down to first base. And now Doyle comes in. He just wants to visit with Moret, and he's simply going to remind him of very basic things. That is, if the ball is hit back to you, throw it to the plate. And if you're saying, well, that's so simple, anybody knows that. I saw it in the Polo Grounds one day. They pitcher got the ball, the bases loaded, and threw it to third. And couldn't explain why. So you just go out there and get very basic. If the ball is hit to you, throw it to the guy with the shin guards. Moret digging the mound. Geronimo is at third. Armbruster is at second. Armbrister. Rose is at first. Nobody out. Bottom of the 10th. Tie score 5-5. And we've got a pinch hitter, Rettenman. Here's the pitch. Strike. A fastball for a strike. Merv Rettenman, a .239 hitter on the year. Pinch hit against Tian, popped up, out, foul territory. And a slow curveball. Now too much time, Rettenman backs out. He is the pinch hitter for Griffey. Morgan, the on-deck batter. Moret, a left-hander. Looks for the sign. Infield is in. Outfield is in. Rettenman backs out of the box. Moret backs off the rubber. Now we're set. Got the sign. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike two. He really reared back and fired a good fastball. You heard Ned Martin say he's got a good one. Two quick strikes on Rettenman. Moret going for the strikeout. Bases loaded. Moret ready. Rettenman waits. Here's the pitch. Foul tip hits the chest protector of the umpire, and he didn't fool around. Now Moret wants to talk to Fisk. Got to believe that he wants to make sure that he's doing what Fisk is asking for with two strikes. The last pitch he threw looked like a high fastball that Rettenman can handle as far as the sacrifice fly. Both managers using everybody. Players have come off the bench, out of the bullpen, out of the woodwork. Two strikes. Rettenman, a pinch hitter for Griffey. Bases loaded. Nobody out. Bottom of the 10th. Here's the pitch. Outside. Ball one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Moret looking for the sign once again. He's got it. The 1-2 pitch to Rettenman. Low, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blocked nicely by Carlton Fisk. That was a curveball. Brother, with 2 strikes, you can't be a guess hitter. But Moret has almost painted himself into the corner where he's got to throw that fastball and match his strength against the strength of Rettenman, which is his ability to hit that fastball. What got you here is going to get you out of it. That's what the way you have to think. Fastball hitter against fastball pitcher. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball, strike 3 is called. Rettenman is called out on strikes. Big strikeout for Moret. Now it's Joe Morgan. And listen to this crowd. One man out. Infield, in, outfield, in. Geronimo at third base. He opened with a base hit. A bunt by Armbrister. Mishandled. Put him at second and third. They walked Rose intentionally, and Rettenman is just out on strikes. Here's the first pitch to Joe Morgan. Low, ball 1. One ball, no strikes. 1 out, 5-5. We're in the bottom of the 10th. Moret ready. The pitch. Swung on and missed. He chased the bad curveball. 1-1 the count. Red Sox manager Darrell Johnson, the coaches on the top step of the dugout. Sparky Anderson pacing the dugout. Crowd wanting to run. 1-1 pitch by Moret to Morgan. Swung on, it's popped up behind the plate. It'll be out of play. 2 strikes.
I tell you, Joe, whatever happens, Moret is bringing the coals pretty well. He's got that floppy kind of ragdoll arm that nothing bothers him. He just throws with it. And for many years, people said this guy's got to be a potential 20-game winner all the time. He had the best percentage in the American League of winning, 14-3.
Well, I'll tell you, he's been a cool customer since he's come in. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and they've moved the outfielders even closer, figuring that Morgan's going to give up some of his swing to get a piece of that ball. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Deep to center field. It'll be over Lynn's head. This game is over. Cincinnati wins it. And they make sure that Pete Rose touches second base, Morgan touches first base, and it's a 6-5 victory for the Cincinnati Reds. It was almost too much to ask Moret to pitch out of it. He gave it a real battle. But the Cincinnati Reds defeat the Boston Red Sox by the score of 6-5 here in his 3rd game. And this crowd, some 55,392, really going wild. And I'll tell you, a lot to talk about. We'll return with the final wrap-up after this message.